What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. It's March Madness. So many good things happening right now. I'm coming off a 13-2 plus 10.9 unit day, which I needed really badly. It helps a lot. It helps my bankroll. It helps my San Antonio trip. It helps my confidence. Now, I guess one could guess this would be the situation. Only 2-1 in NHL. Your first guest, Mr. Gogster, 5-1 in NHL. He's killing it. But 6-1 in NCAA. Swept the board in NBA. And it has me right pumped up for today. And we are officially a week away from Pubba-Palooza. Also, you have 1 hour and 12 minutes if you want in our $50 Pub Sports Radio NCAA bracket pool, $50 bracket pool. You have 1 hour and 12 minutes. You have to DM Jose, and he's a busy man. He's producing the show, but I think he might be able to get you in. You only have 1 hour and 12 minutes for that. Yes, direct. Oh, okay, absolutely. A ticket giveaway. I don't know about this ticket giveaway. Maybe you can jump in, but jump in, Jose, right before we talk NCAA basketball. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Let me just move over my chat so that I can get to everybody and see everything here on this computer. I love it. I'm Just Drew says top of the morning. Those first half NBA bets were on point. Thanks, guys. I'm Just Drew. I'm glad that you cashed Viper and be in the house. Dan Kelly says if you're not tailing Dutchy, you shouldn't be gambling. Yes, Dallas minus 2.5. And he said there's lots of it's too bad because we all got in on the 1.5, but Dutch got in on the 1.5. So it's too bad that, and he's giving out the official picks that you can bet at the time. And that's an honorable thing that he does. And that's what hurt that. But, man, he's crushing it. And no backwoods today in NBA. I love bum fights. That'll be our final game here on the show, Dan Kelly. Yenny Toon coming off a 4-1 day with Dortmund cash. Liverpool play the day cash easy. Chelsea cash. Tottenham cash. I love that. Sammy Comer. THC is Rizza. Turnsy. Nasty Nate. Fat Wally in the house. Fat Wally. He's at home. He is home. I'm so glad to hear that. He's out of the hospital. He's out of ICU. He's back home. Fat Wally. So much good news today. Well, I almost hit my coffee over. So much good news today. I'm so glad to hear that, Fat Wally. My man, CT Bays, Billy Friedrich, Sammy B, Matty Ice, Slatsy, Serious Business, Christopher Comentini, Puzzler, Rodney Barton, Mark Schillingberg, Sammy B, Diehard MMA Podcast, our man, Clint. Had the Mangiapane goal at plus 350 last night. Attaboy. Great work. Says I got a feeling today that's going to be a good day already on Colorado State and South Dakota State. I spent a ton of time on that Colorado State-Michigan game, and I'm on Michigan. And it's a very hard thing to say out loud, and the Sharps are on Colorado State, and look, they're a team that's played, other than the one transfer, they played together their whole careers. But how are they going to stop Hunter? How are they going to do it? And maybe they shoot 50-plus from outside, and they don't need to worry about it. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to get into that here shortly. But NCAA yesterday, Bryant Wright under 155 was a loss. Virginia first half cash. Virginia -3 push. Those of you who got in Virginia early, nice work. I own the first half plus 3.5 cash. I own the full game plus 6.5 cash. Florida Gulf Coast -2.5. We were all on it. Spreadsheet play the day was on it, by the way. Spreadsheet play of the day swept the board yesterday as well. -2.5 was the easiest cashier of the day. Maryland Eastern Shore first half plus 7.5. Focusing on the first half was great because they got destroyed in the second half. And Southeast Louisiana plus 8.5 was the easy cashier. Senators -1 was a bad play. Not seeing things clearly in NHL. Gogster was on the other side and cashed. Flames -1.5 cashed very easily. Lightning -1.5 cashed very easily. In NBA, Mavericks -1.5 cashed. Atlanta, Charlotte under 240 is easy as a total under you're going to get, even though the first quarter was ridiculous. It's still like they can't keep that pace, or they can't keep that efficiency up because their pace isn't fast enough. Nuggets first half -3.5. Nuggets full game 6.5. Too easy. And Raptors -1.5. Easy, just easy. There's Matty Ice says Indiana plus 2.5. Let's get this money. It's funny when you cap and it just sometimes it feels so simple when we know that's not the case. It's extremely difficult. Thank you for sharing that with us, Matty Ice, my guy. The taint play of the day is in. Okay, so this is the plan. Jose, I'm sure Jose has sent out the links to our NCAA basketball cappers. Both Conor, Mack, and Nolly will be with us for each and every game here on the card. All of the NCAA games on the card. And there's my guy, Dutch E in the house. St. Patrick's Day fit. Thank you. Respect. Much love to you, Dutch Boy Fresh. And look, in my mind, Dutchy, your freshest look is 16 straight. And it's extremely honorable what you do. And it comes from Pistol Piloshak. But giving out a pick that you can bet on at the time of your show is a very honorable, very difficult thing. We all got in on the 1.5. We were all on it. You were on it. I'm on it. I got it the night before. We talked all about it. In my mind, and I know that you are going to say the freshest look, didn't cash yesterday. In all of our minds, it did. So in all of our minds, you've hit 16 straight. Call it what you want to call it. I'm a fucking alcoholic. All right, let's get to work, everybody. There's Birdie. Birdie back in action. Kallgren getting the start again for Toronto tonight. That's the only NHL bet. I'm fading Kallgren tonight. And I can't wait to hear what Turnsey has to say about that. Thank you guys all for being here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We're coming off a giant day. It's March Madness. So many good things. Please welcome your first guest, Mr. Gogster, Pride of Belleville, Ontario, coming off a 5-1 day. Hey. Already has a shot under his belt. Hey, you had a little shot to get the day started?
Shot. A little JMO. I saw that green you're wearing, Jim. I come in hot here, baby. Let's rock and roll, guys. How we doing?
So good. So good. Now, we only have 32 minutes to break down this NHL card because attention has to be focused on NCAA basketball. So let's get right to work. But excellent work yesterday. As always, Gogster, you are a monster on the ice and on the links and just generally capping. Let's go right now. I'm going to pull up the market moves and such, but I'll do that in a second. First off, we're starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. New York Islanders 24-24-9, 10-12-5 on the road at the Rangers, 38-17-5, 25-3 at home at Madison Square Garden. We're expecting Ilya Sorokin, 20-12-7, 2.33 goals against average, 925 save percentage, 6 shutouts, up against Shesty, who has spectacular numbers on the season, but hasn't looked so good over the last couple weeks. Islanders power play at 19.3%, penalty killing at 83.2%. I'm just shocked they're 24-24-9 and shocked. Rangers 26.8% power play, 82.5% penalty killing. The Islanders looked like they were going to put together a legitimate streak. They'd won 3 in a row. Then they lose in overtime or a shootout. I can't remember, in the extra stanza at Washington on Tuesday. The Rangers finished off their road trip. They had losses 5-2 in Minnesota, then 6-2 in St. Louis. Then they beat Dallas 7-4, and that was big. They were down 2-0 early. They came back, and then they beat Anaheim, and that was in a overtime or a shootout on Tuesday, 4-3, and it was very underwhelming. They've been playing underwhelming hockey. Take it away here, Gogster. First game on deck, Islanders, Rangers.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's Day, guys. Sorokin's been confirmed. Shesterkin's still an unbelievable goalie, guys. 16-2-2 at home. Jim, guys, absolutely money. .943 save percentage. Give this guy the goalie award there. He deserves it. New Jersey Devils, he's won. He hasn't lost in a very long time either, Shesterkin, despite, kind of scraping by a couple W's. Kakko, he's going to be out for the Rangers, guys. The Islanders are completely healthy. That's been a while since you've seen this Islanders team completely healthy. That's what I had down. So 7 of the last 8 here, guys, have gone under in this game. And I'm going to be taking some unders here. I know one of our guys here, Shelly. What's going on, Shelly? Happy St. Patty's Day, buddy. Fat Wally, too. I think it's an under, guys. I'm taking first period and first 10. I actually just added first 10 minutes. I didn't tweet that one out, but I'm going to also take no goal in the first 10 minutes here. I just think both these teams, they know each other pretty well. Battle of New York, St. Patty's Day. The Barn's probably going to be rocking at the Rangers there. I think this is going to be an under, guys. I really do. Sorokin's not an awful goalie either, especially on the road. He is 9-9, but his save percentage is .918, Jim. He's lost against Colorado, beat Anaheim, lost against San Jose, won against Seattle, lost against Buffalo. So he's kind of up and down. But 7 of the last 8 going under, and the Islanders team completely healthy. Just tells me it's going to be a little more. Having Barzal's back too is a big piece for the Islanders, but I think it's going to be an under, fellas. No goal first 10 minutes. That was at +120. I just played that at Bet365, and then I'm on the under, Jim, -110 first period, 1.5, guys. I think this is going to be a physical game. I don't think Islanders aren't just going to let the Rangers run over them, and neither are the Rangers going to let the Islanders run over them. So I think this is going to be a tight game. Could explode as the game goes on, but I doubt it because you have two damn good goalies. So I think it's going to be an under.
And we can get you that at plus 124, no goals in the first 10. Your under is tweeted out. So no goals in the first 10 is the addition for Gogster at plus 124, available at Bookmaker. Thank you for sharing that with us, Billy Friedrich. A lot of belief in that under. A lot of people looking at it as well. And let's just move on. We got to be fast here. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, Carolina Hurricanes, 41-13-5, 18-9-3 on the road at Toronto Maple Leafs, 38-17-5, 21-7-2 at home. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Freddie Anderson, if you listen to Sports Talk out here, they're all like, oh, we'd love to have a series against the Hurricanes. We know Freddie Anderson's a sieve. We know he can't handle the pressure. All this bullshit. Now, it might have been, now, maybe it's not bullshit, but it might have been the soft-ass, unaccountable, offensive pussies that were playing in front of Frederik Andersen in his career for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe they should take a look in the mirror before they slam this goaltender who's now playing in front of a bunch of men and has a .930 save percentage and a 2.06 goals against average. And I don't buy it anymore. And I expect him to start showing it, especially here when the Leafs goaltending is an atrocity. Now Colgren comes in undrafted and looks great, and Turnsey called it. And I didn't have the balls to bet the under. I talked about not wanting the over at 6, and then it went to 6.5. And I was like, I think they're going to play different. I think that Colgren gets a bit of a wake-up call. I think he probably still plays well, but he gets a bit of a wake-up call here. And I'm on the Carolina Hurricanes -1 at plus 150. I got a great price at plus 150. And right now, you can still get it. I mean, there's been very little market movement towards the Hurricanes. I think that's crazy. And I don't want, even if this total goes up to 6.5, I don't want the under here. If I did want anything, I maybe would make a move on
the Leafs team total under.
Yeah, Leafs team total under. So maybe I'll take a look at what that is here. Let's just hand it right over to Gogster and tell us what you think here.
Yeah, this is my smash spot here, guys. I had a couple of smash spots I've hit there. Last night we had Minnesota. The night before that at Vancouver. So tonight's smash spot, I'm going to say, here's Carolina, guys. Jimmy said it best. This Calgary guy, he's going to get deer in headlights. He's going to get touched. He's going to get lit up, in my opinion. Coming over to the Toronto team and for the Marlies guys, he gave up 6 against Abbotsford, 5 against Cleveland, then another 3 against Abbotsford. It's not like this guy was coming in playing unbelievable hockey. He's okay, but I think he's going to get just roughed the fuck up here, guys. Especially, it looks like D'Angelo's going to be back on the team too, Jimmy. That's going to be huge. Who else here? D'Angelo and Jarvis too. Is that Jarvis? Another guy who produces a lot of offense, and Smith on defense. So this is a Carolina spot. Even if you want to take Carolina first period minus a goal at like plus 180, I saw that at, guys. I wouldn't shy off that. I almost kind of want to take some plus money. I got the Carolina team for first period money line minus 107. And then I also took the money line at minus 111, I believe it was. I think it's up to 115 now. I really like Carolina here. Leafs, they don't have Matthews too. He'll be coming back Saturday. Calgren, the Leafs are in shambles right now. I'm surprised. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
I love it. And I'm going to make a move on the team total under 3. I'm going to build a 3 with the -1 line, the 2.5 and the 3.5. We've got to move. So do make a big point, Gogster, anytime you're adding anything. That's not on your tweet. Make that really clear because there's a lot of work going on here. So there you go. So we're all over the Hurricanes here.
Yeah.
Look, we were all over the Flames last night. It was very easy. I really believed in the Lightning. We're going to, last game of a road trip, just have a really quality game after kind of a tough road trip. Oh, by the way, and we'll get into this in the Panthers. Well, I'll wait till the Panthers game. We'll get into okay. 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Dallas Stars 32-23-3, 12-15-2 on the road at Montreal Canadiens, 16-36-8, 8-18-2 at home. We're at Bell Center, Montreal, Quebec. Ottinger versus Jake Allen. And look, I do not trust Dallas net right now. They were playing 9 of their next 11 games on the road, and I don't know what they're going to do. Minus 175 favorites. I know the Habs just traded Ben Sherratt, but I just can't. I just don't trust them here. I don't know what to do with their totals either. I don't know what their offense is really doing here. 23.4%, 78.4% penalty killing. I find the Habs are a tricky team to break down right now. The Stars are on a 3-game losing streak. They lose to Nashville 2-1. Then they lose to the Rangers 7-4 at home. That was a game they were up 2-0. And then they get shut out by the Leafs and Colgren last out. So I expect them to bounce back, but do you really want a Stars team that has just historically struggled on the road against a Habs team that's scoring and believes in themselves? Now they don't have Sherratt. I mean, without Sherratt, you would think that Dallas is going to be able to score goals here, but I just don't trust them enough. Let's just look at their mark it right here quickly. Where is it? Sorry. Here we go. They opened up at minus 182. Now they're between minus 175, minus 185. Not a lot of movement. This total sitting at 6 of the pick 'em. Take it away here, Gogster.
I'm breaking news here. Cleveland Browns out of Deshaun Watson. Okay, thank you, Uni.
They're out of the Deshaun Watson stakes?
Yeah, that's what he says there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, looking at this game, guys, Dallas Ottinger, he's 4-5-1 on the road, Jim, but he's got a .94 save percentage. What the hell's up with that? With a 1.98 goals against, Dallas just hasn't been able to score as many goals. They're going to have a guy in Jake Allen, one of the guys in the chat. I think it was Slatsy. Yeah, first game in over a month. What do I have? I think it was even longer than that. First game since January the 12th and first home start since December 9th. It's a completely different team than when he was playing in net. It's a completely different team now, but I really do think this is going to be a Dallas spot. Also, Josh Anderson, Jimmy, he's not in the lineup. He's going to be out. Wow. So I think that's a big piece. That top line takes a hit. So I think it's a Dallas bounce back spot.
Gotta be, right? Yeah, it has to be. No shot.
Yeah, they haven't looked good. It looks like an easy spot. What I did, I got it in a money line parlay. Dallas is going to be one of the pieces here, guys. You know what? If you want to take them in regulation, I wouldn't say no to that. But it was minus 123 last I looked overnight. I think the line's dropped. I would expect it to even move up in Dallas's favor now with Anderson out. So, Dallas money line. I really think they get it done. Heiskanen's out, but
he's got mono, so he's not, and he's on my hockey pool. We have to pick defenseman in the hockey pool, so that's a big problem. Okay, let's roll on, Gogster. So anytime you're adding anything, let me know. Oh, in fact, there is one other bet I have made in NHL night.
Okay, went to Florida, right?
Yes, Sherrod went. He's on the Florida Panthers now. Yes, thank you, Ron Crawford. Got to get back to work. Thank you so much. Spreadsheet, NCAA, parlay, Memphis, Iowa, Arkansas, and I don't have anything for you in NHL right now, Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford coming off sweeping yesterday. Let's move on. At 7 p.m. Eastern, Nashville Predators 35-21-4, 17-10-4 on the road at Philadelphia Flyers, 18-30-11, 11-15 and 6 at home, Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yes, I'll be talking quickly here. We have 21 minutes before we get into NCAA basketball, so I'm going to be moving quickly here. Jarek White says, would you take the Canes minus 1.5? Yeah, if I wanted a big, juicy score. It's one of those things. Like, there's nothing wrong with parlays if you don't have, if your unit size isn't that big. I spent years betting parlays because, look, I had $100 to bet that night, and I want a big score, and that was the only way to get them. So, If you don't have a big enough unit size and you want a big score, sure. It's risky, but that's part of the fun of gambling.
I think the line, too, you're getting a good number on that. So I would say yes to that, yeah.
Okay, and Ron is on the Florida in regulation for the spreadsheet play of the day. I can't wait to talk about that. Here we go. I'm going to pop that right under that game here, and let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. So I'm going to take – I like the Stars look there. But UC Saros versus Carter Hart. Carter Hart's been much better of late. It doesn't have – strength in front of him, so his numbers I think are pretty impressive for such a bad hockey team. Saros has been good all year. Nashville's been good all year. Nashville 23.8% power play, 80.2% penalty killing. Philly 13.5% power play, 75.6% penalty killing. Nashville coming off that very impressive victory over the Penguins. This is a better, and Birdie said it right off the hop this year that they're going to be better than we expect. They beat up Minnesota in Minnesota 6-2. That's hard to do. Flyers on a 3-game losing streak. They're not to be trusted. But do you want Nashville at these odds? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Nashville at minus 165 to minus 175. This total sitting at 6 of the pick. I'm taking it away, Gogster.
This is not a game we got a lot of action on here. Carter Hart, very up and down this year. Hard for me to gauge this goalie. Saros, he's a much better home goalie. He's 11-8-3 on the road, guys. .916 save percentage. Won against San Jose, lost against Seattle, lost against Carolina, and lost against Dallas. So Saros has lost 3 of his last 4 on the road. This is a game I don't really want a lot to do with. I lean towards the over. I lean towards some goals. Nashville's a pretty heavy over team on the road compared to at home. So what's going on, Birdie? He's saying under Preds regulation, no goal first 10 minutes. Only thing I would have to share. Yeah, it's tough for me to gauge it, but it could very well go that way with Hart and Saros. Hart's a better goalie at home too, so it's not a game I want a lot of action on, guys. Questionable with Knutson and Lawton is out. Benning's questionable, so it's not a game I have a lot of action on here.
Wow, it's Drew's 1,000th game tonight. I didn't realize that.
Sorry, yes, that's a big thing. It's his 1000th game, and after this, I expect him to get traded after this game. So, I do lean towards Philadelphia, to be honest, in this game, but it's nothing I feel strong enough to put some money on.
All right, let's move on. Next up, Washington Capitals 33-18-10, 18-7-5 on the road at Columbus Blue Jackets 31-27-3, 17-12-3 at home. Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. I said yesterday if Merzlikins was announced in that we would move on the Capitals. But look, these books aren't idiots. And the Caps opened up at minus 230 on the road. You know, it's like very tough. The total opened up at 6.5 at minus 110 for me, and I'm actually not even sure because it wasn't available last night at 2 a.m. But this morning early, it was up at 6.5 minus 110. I was like, oh, it's minus 200 now. So now we're getting better.
Came down a bit.
Number. Yeah. The 6.5 minus 115 now to the over. I took the 6.5 minus 110, but I really didn't take it with a huge amount of joy. I don't really want capital overs, but they're scoring more now that they're a healthy group. They played to at least 5 straight overs, so they're scoring more. But against a really good hockey team, I think the Capitals are going to play tight and try to get on the power play and that sort of thing. But the Jackets and you have Korpisalo and Samsonov, 2 very bad goalies. Korpisalo 883 save percentage. I mean, Samsonov 901 save percentage, and you nailed it with Samsonov playing so well on the road and not looking good at home. Do we really believe that? I don't know do I really believe that as something that's going to continue?
I don't. To be honest, I don't. I'm not a big fan of Samsonov. I've seen a lot of them. I think Vanecek's their guy. I was hoping to see Vanecek in net there, to be honest, Jimmy. I've not seen any confirmations yet, guys.
I was shocked that they were going for Samsonov, but this is the first half of a back-to-back for them.
Yes, they're playing tomorrow at Carolina, so that will be the tougher of the two. Carolina too is on a back-to-back. Along with Washington, but yeah, this is a game. I still, whenever you see Korpisalo in that, guys, he's got to be the worst goalie in the league. Like his numbers, Jim, he's got an 8.68 save percentage. 86% of the time, this guy's saving the puck. That is not good. That's very bad, guys. 2-5 at home. He did have a win against the Rangers recently, but if Vanecek goes, both of these goalies have solid road numbers. He's 7-3 too, Vanecek. So. This is going to be a money line parlay, Jim. I know you're talking about the line being a little high. I added it with Dallas money line and Washington money line, guys. I got it at plus 118. I'm kind of kicking myself. It's plus 135 now. So go jump on that one, guys. I think that's a great play. Dallas money line and Washington money line. They're playing good hockey right now, the Capitals, and I think it's going to continue with a Columbus team coming off a back-to-back where they played pretty damn good against Ottawa. They locked them down. Well, Ottawa had some injuries, but yeah.
And the Capitals have been so good on the road. Again, we're 15 minutes away from college basketball. Maybe I should have just taken the Capitals -1, but at that juice line, I don't want it. I'm not going to on the road, even though they've been good on the road. But I am on the. I looked at the Caps team total over. I thought I was going to take that in the 3.5. I believe it was like -150 or something like that. It was like, come on. So I'm on the over 6.5 at -110, and I kind of lukewarm on it, to be honest with you.
I really like this money line parlay with Dallas and Washington, guys. Plus 135, you can get it at. Can go to overtime. I don't see both these teams losing. So, yeah, let's rock.
All right, let's roll on. Pittsburgh Penguins 36-16-9, 19-7-4 on the road at the St. Louis Blues 34-17-8, 27-3 at home at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Tristan Jarry versus Jordan Binnington. Jarry 29-12-6, 2.32 goals against average, 922 save percentage, 4 shutouts. Binnington 13-12-4, 3.11 goals against average, 903 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Maybe it won't be Binnington. It looked at one point like he was going to turn it on. Do you have Husso?
I hope it's Husso, Jim. If it's Binnington, I got an under here. I'm dead to rights. Binnington's I can't trust him this year. Where Husso is 10-1 at home.
And I mean, the Blues have been in high scoring affairs of late. 8 goals in the Rangers game, 11 in the Predators game, 7 in the Jets game. The Penguins, though, would prefer to play kind of tight, controlled hockey, and they don't have depth offensively. And they're a tough team. I'm not sure what to make of them anymore because they have no depth at all, and I expect them to do something at the deadline. The money line here, Penguins open up at plus 105. They're now favorites. They're now the favorites in this contest. This total at 6.5 is on the board at BetMGM. Take it away, Go.
That's too high for this game. I don't think it's going to get that crazy. Just looking at the numbers, guys, if Husso goes, he's 10-1. Yari's 15-2 on the road. You got 2 top goalies going here. Save percentages are above .925. Penalty kills 87% on the road for Pittsburgh, 81 for St. Louis. Also, looking here, Buchnevich and Thomas are on the ice, so looking like both Buchnevich and Thomas are going to go for St. Louis. So those are two big additions. I got the first period under and no goal 10 minutes here as well, guys, similar to the New York Islanders, New York Rangers game. It's like a playoff kind of game. You got Pittsburgh, St. Louis. They're very similar teams, actually, in my opinion. Not as much, maybe a little more depth on Pittsburgh, but still both teams are more veteran-laden. Two really good goalies, good coaches too. I think this is going to be that 6.5. I'd be betting the under there. But
I don't have your under the no goal in 10 minutes on here. Is this an addition?
This is an addition. Sorry, Jimmy. Yes.
Okay.
The first 10 minutes in the Rangers Islanders and the first 10 minutes in the St. Louis and the Penguins game, guys. This is going to be an addition. No goal first 10 minutes. I just think it's going to be a tighter game. Goals too, going by period. I'll be really quick because I know we got guys coming up here. But first period, 18 goals against from Pittsburgh on the road in the first period. They're a tough team to play against, and I think St. Louis is going to start playing a little lower scoring games. You're going to see a lot more unders, I think, going forward here. So no goal first 10 minutes, first period under.
Plus 143 over at Bookmaker. Plus 143. Okay, we have 12 more minutes before we break down every Thursday game in NCAA basketball with Nolly Knows and Conor Mack. We move on to Buffalo Sabres. 20-32-8, 19-16-4 on the road at Edmonton Oilers. 33-23-4, 17-12 at home. Rogers Place, Edmonton, Alberta. Sammy Calmer. So Sammy B says the over in Buffalo, Edmonton, and Sammy Calmer says Oilers minus 240 with Mike Smith. Says Sabres team total is a must. Mike Smith back between the pipes going up against Craig Anderson. Buffalo 19.4% power play, 76.7% penalty killing. Edmonton 24.7% power play and just 75.8% penalty killing. If they go into the playoffs with 75.8% penalty killing, they're not going to last in the playoffs long. There has been a move to the Sabres. The Sabres opened up. The Oilers opened up minus 315. They're now down to minus 250. And this total here is sitting at 6.5. Take it away here, Gogster. Sabres, Oilers.
Yeah, this number is 238 now for Edmonton at Pinnacle, too. So the line's dropping a lot there.
Wow.
Buffalo, I wanted to take the over there, to be honest, but it was 6.5 minus 130. Numbers just getting a little ridiculous there. Fitzgerald, he's questionable. Defenseman could get him back. They got a back-to-back though, Buffalo against Calgary tomorrow, so that's going to be if they want to get the win, I think it's going to be definitely tonight over Smith. So it's not a game I have a lot of action on. You have two goalies with sub 900 save percentages, so whenever you see that, there should be some goals. Plus money on Buffalo is very enticing, but not a game I have a lot of action on. Maybe a first period Buffalo. They've always been a strong team in the first period, and Edmonton's been pretty weak for the most part. So not even got a lot of action on, guys, but I don't blame you guys for taking the Buffalo Sabres here.
And Turnsy's on Buffalo team total over in the first period. Just that really correlates with your thoughts here. All right, let's keep moving. 10 minutes till college basketball. Detroit Red Wings 24-29-7, 18-17-3 on the road at Vancouver Canucks 30-24-7, 14-11-4 at home at Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. Nedeljkovic now has a 900 save percentage, 3.23 goals against average, one of the worst goalies in the league. And then we have Maggie Thatcher Demko. Let's give a quick shout out to Maggie Thatcher Demko. Not being as good this year as I was hoping. I really expected more from Maggie, but still 27-17-3, 2.66 goals against average, 916 save percentage, one shot. And it's not like he's got this really accountable group in front of him. Detroit power play 17.8%, power play 17.8%, penalty killing 72.7%. There's DX Filer in the house. He's on Sabres money line over at money line and plus 1.5 puck line. Sorry, I'm tripping out there. But he parlayed first period over in Washington, Columbus, and Buffalo, Edmonton. And Billy Friedrich says the iron goalie. Yes, so Canucks 21.4% power play. Their penalty killing is still struggling. I just have a tough time backing the Canucks at this price. And maybe you're going to tell me this is another slam dunk. You know this. You're reading this Canucks team very well. They're minus 210 opener. They're still minus 210 at FanDuel. This total opened up at 6. There are a few 6.5s on the board. When are the Red Wings going to play average hockey? I mean, when are they going to step up here? Yeah, Dennis Demko's been fine. I agree. He's been fine. I think he's elite, and he's not being elite this year. I do, and I've watched him at times be absolutely spectacular, and I just wanted to see more of that this year. And
I don't like the Canucks the defense, Jim. I think they've had a bad defense for a while. Like even Markstrom, he got pressured. Now look at him in Calgary with the defense he's got. So
the Tyler Myers signing was one of the worst signings. Oh God, I can't even take it. It's just such fucking bullshit.
I got question marks, Jim, all around this game, buddy. Vancouver money line. This could be the trap spot of the day here. As much as I want to take Vancouver, Ned's been bad. Bertuzzi's not going to be here because it's Canada. 65% penalty kill on the road for Detroit. 71% for Vancouver. Goals stand out here as well. Maybe a Detroit team total over, but Demko has been playing well. Not a game I really like. At this number 2, I'm going to stay off this game. It's a 10-foot pole game. I'm not even going to touch it, Jim. Yeah, I don't want. This could be a trap spot for Vancouver. I could be wrong, but I got a weird feel about this one.
Yeah, look, Vancouver is.
Pettersson could be back too.
If Vancouver and Dallas played in the 7 games, I mean, I don't know. I certainly would not be confident with Dallas. I mean, they've given us no reason to be confident. In Vancouver, they can play good hockey. We've seen them play good hockey. And if Pettersson, if old toddler shoulders comes back, maybe that will help. I've got no move here.
No,
next up, 10 p.m. Eastern, San Jose Sharks 26-25-8, 12-12-4 on the road at LA Kings 33-21-8, 15-13-3 home. I believe Doug Wilson just signed Hurdle to an 8-year contract. Is that right? Hurdle to an 8-year contract. Doug Wilson is such a bad general manager. I mean, if you got so many pieces on this Sharks team that you can really build around. Look, they have a 20.4% power play, 87% penalty killing. I mean, that's special teams that you can work with, and yet they're a bad hockey team. It's just the Kings 15.8% power play, 74.1% penalty killing. Imagine if they had special teams. They're decimated with injuries right now, but I can't sit here and trust what we've seen lately from the Kings. It's just they look good against Florida, but there should be some revenge in mind. The Sharks beat them 3-4 in LA and then beat them 5-0 in the Shark Tank. But look, the Kings, with all these injuries, they've been shut out 2 of their last 3 games. And it's just, they're a tough team to want anything to do with. He just signed for 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. Are you kidding me? I mean, just what?
He'll last 4.
So take it away here, Gogster. Let me just give you a quick line. Again, we're 6 minutes away from college basketball. And here we have, here we go, Sharks.
San Jose Turnsy.
We have plus 155 down to 130. So the Kings open up at minus 190. They're down to minus 155 at books. Take it away.
Yeah, this game here, guys, it's, you know what? I'm rocking with San Jose. Do we have any background sound? Sorry about that. There's some of the stuff going on there.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, right on. San Jose. It's rare I trust him here, but I just think the LA Kings injuries are too much. I'll be quick. Roy, Doughty, Anderson, Lemieux, Brown, Athanasiou, and Arvidsson. That's a bit of a laundry list. They do have a good farm team in the AHL, but I think this is going to be the spot. You talked about how they've lost a couple times this year to the LA Kings. I do think this can be my dog of the day, you could say. I'm on them 3 ways, though. It's a little risky, guys, but I'm trusting the Sharks here. First period, full game money line, and team total over 2.5. I'm also expecting Pettersson to go here. Do you have Pettersson or Quick here going, Jim?
I mean, last night they had Quick, but there's no number 1 there, so.
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards that. Also, there's going to be a back-to-back versus Colorado tomorrow for San Jose. So they do have a tough matchup tomorrow. I do think they're going to put out a good performance here. Sawchenko going. I know DX is saying he's got a shit emoji besides Sawchenko, but I'm going to rock with Sawchenko. He's got a .92 save percentage, only in 3 games, but yeah, plug in the nose here, guys. Taking San Jose. Not too often we take San Jose, but I do think this is going to be a spot for them. Gut feel.
Yeah,
I the money line's a little.
Reimer is confirmed for the Sharks.
Oh, you know what? That's even better. That's even better.
That is better. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah. I got plus 149 guys on the money line on San Jose, plus 133 on the first period money line, and the team total over 2.5 is even plus 108, Jim. So we got 3+ money spots. You know, let's rock.
Looks like nobody wants those last couple playoff spots over there in the Pacific. 10:30 p.m. Eastern is the final game before college basketball. We have Florida Panthers 41-13-6, 15-7-6 on the road at Las Vegas Golden Knights 32-26-4, 16-13-3 at home, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I'll tell you what I did last night was I've got the Panthers at plus 425 to win the division, and I was like, oh man, they've been on the road for a while. In my head, they hadn't. They were in Buffalo and Pittsburgh. They were on the road trip. Then they came home for 1 game in Philadelphia. Then they just started this road trip. But in my head, I was like, they've been on the road for a little while. LA, San Jose, and they have not looked good in those 2 hockey games, and they haven't looked good on the road this year. but they're a good hockey team. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're a really good hockey team. And then I look, they have Vegas tonight, Anaheim on Friday. Then they go up to Canada. I mean, will they go home first? I don't know what they'll do. Then they have 6 days off before Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto up in Canada. And I was like, God, that's not easy for this squad who has not looked good. And they were minus 140 last night. Now they're minus 180. So there's been a 40-cent move on them. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want them at minus 140. I like the idea of, now, look, I don't believe in the Vegas Golden Knights, but they're coming home after a horrible road trip. And look, I know they're decimated with injuries right now, but maybe somebody comes back. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? So I bet the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Atlantic at plus 300 last night. I don't think Toronto's going to be an issue anymore. And plus 300 I thought was a fine hedge. So now I have the Panthers at plus 425, the Lightning at plus 300, and the Lightning are coming home after a tough swing. And
yeah,
look, Slat says Vegas gets worse and worse after Jimmy talked about Stevenson. They've made mistakes right now. Today, Chandler Stevenson is a better center than Jack Eichel, and maybe that'll change next year. But so Florida, Vegas, I didn't want them minus 140. I'm not going to take them minus 180.
That's for sure. Yeah, I think the injuries.
Yeah, Brisbois is starting. Sorry.
Yeah, Brisbois is starting there. Yeah, Stone, Smith, McNabb, Yanmark, Hutton, and Howden are all out. Pacioretty's questionable. It could get him back. That could help the team, but. Florida guys, they're weird. I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs. I feel like they're an offensive team that can just turn it on at any goddamn point in time to have a hockey game. But defensively, man, I don't know. I really don't know about Florida. And on the road, they haven't proven all year, really. I think at the beginning of the year, they had a nice stretch where they're winning some games on the road. But when teams are playing some good, good hockey or starting to round into form, Florida's they've struggled a bit on the road. And this number, you got a desperate Vegas team. Brisbois coming off a really bad game in Colorado. So it's not a game I have a lot of action on. I almost want to lean towards Vegas here at their barn, just how bad Florida's looked and what they have coming up at back-to-back against Anaheim as well. Not a game I have a lot of action on. I lean towards Vegas here, guys. But yeah. Two teams that are tough for me to gauge right now.
I was planning on betting Florida at some point last night, and I was just sitting there studying it, and I was like, and then I ended up betting a future on the Lightning. So that's what happened there. Okay, so that's where we go. And look at Turns. He says, I leave this afternoon to go back to Windsor. Medical transport is taking care of my mom getting home. That is great news. Great news. Jenkins says, when will you ever learn not to fade my Panthers? Can't believe what I'm hearing. Look, I'm not fading. Oh, you mean I've got them plus 425 to win the division. We'll see if they can hold on to win the division.
Offensively, they're deadly there, DJ. It's just defensively, if their offense is kind of stagnant, especially on the road, I don't know. Calgary's in the division, but Carolina's my team that I think is going to go deep in the playoffs. So nothing against them by any means, DJ. Just
and picking up Sherratt is a big deal, but let's just give some love to Turnsey there. He's been sitting beside his mom in the hospital for a week now, and it's a great news. She's coming home, medical transport, taking her home, back to Windsor, and that's just wonderful news, Turnsey. You're a good man, and I'm sure that you sitting beside her through the last week is helpful in giving her the strength to get home, and you're a great guy. Okay, and that's just great news. Okay, so let's review action and then move on to NCAA basketball. So, Gogster, I believe you've added 2 plays. You added no goal first 10 minutes plus 124 in Islanders Rangers, and you added the no goal first 10 minutes plus 143 in Pittsburgh St. Louis. Is that right? And then I'll go over.
That is correct, Jimmy.
Okay, so you have a Dallas-Washington money line parlay at plus 118. You have the Islanders-Rangers first period under 1.5 minus 110. Carolina first period minus 107. Carolina money line minus 110. Pittsburgh-St. Louis first period under 1.5 at plus 120. You have 3 bets on the Sharks. First period money line at plus 133. Full game money line plus 149. And team total over 2.5 at plus 108. For me, I only made 2 bets. One I love, the Hurricanes minus 1. And one I felt like I just sort of had to take in that Caps over 6.5 minus 110, regular VIG. This is what I'm adding. Leafs team total under 3. I'll build that. The Stars minus 1. And I do think King Al said, you like that over 6 in Montreal and Sherratt not there. And I think that might hurt Montreal's, passes out of the zone and stretch passes, things of that nature. But I think that over 6 does make sense. So I'm going to add that. I think I'm going to add that. So that's our NHL breakdown spreadsheet. Play today is Florida in regulation. Mr. Gogster, thank you so much for your hard work, my friend. And I will see you in person. You'll be coming down to, we're getting our antigen tests together on Monday before we go down to San Antonio. So, your hockey star playing father will be driving you down to my spot, man.
We'll see if get him off the couch there. He's retired now, and he's what happens when you get retired. But anyways, Jimmy, you're the man, bro. Appreciate you for everything you do. Everyone in the chat too. You guys are the best. We'll see you on in a week. A week from now, San Antonio, baby. I can't wait for it. Jim, we'll see you Monday, buddy, and get that cash, guys. We got a nice juicy hockey card. NCAA basketball. Let's go, guys. Fuck.
Let's go, Raw Dog. How about it?
There he is, Mr. Gogster in the house. Okay, it is time. We are 38 minutes away from the first game of March Madness. We have two guests joining us to break down all these games, and our first guest is in the building, the Jedi Master of Unders, coming to us from Long Beach, California. Please welcome to the show, Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, what up?
What's going on, Jimmy? We're excited to be here. Try to get a little payback from yesterday. Took it in the mouth, 1-2 yesterday. Hopefully it works out a little better today.
Some of the discussions about sides, even though you stayed away from it, did help me yesterday with your breakdowns. And I had a giant day. I went 6-1. So I think it helped. Let's go. We have Conor Mack joining us here shortly. But before we break down the first game, 12:15 p.m., South Region first round, Michigan, Colorado State, let's talk about the future looks in this. And I haven't made future bets here. I haven't made any future bets, and maybe that's a mistake, but I haven't made any future bets. But I have my Final Four figured out in all my pools. Are you in pools? You have your Final Four ready?
No, I go day by day, so it's a little harder for me because then I'll start getting locked into what I put on that sheet instead of breaking down the games day by day. So I know a lot of people like that stuff, but not for me.
Well, I haven't bet any of them, and maybe I should have now thinking about it, but I haven't bet any of these futures or anything. But I have. And I know, look, it's going to take a ton of heat whenever you make whatever. But my Final Four is Arkansas out of the West, Kentucky out of the East, Nova out of the South, and Kansas in the Midwest. And I have Kentucky winning it all over Kansas. So I've got Gonzaga.
Ooh.
I've got Gonzaga losing early. Ella, no, we got to work, sweetheart. It's March Madness.
Yes, Ella.
Ella, you want to wish people good luck? You can do that. You want to wish people good luck? Yeah. And happy St. Patrick's Day. Why aren't you wearing green? Get your green on. What's up?
Pincher.
Come on, get your green up. Okay, I love you.
I'm not wearing green. You have this green.
I do. Okay.
And that's red and orange.
Yes.
So that way, like green.
Yeah. Okay, I love you. Give me 5. We got to go. You got to go.
I'm wearing shoes.
Good, you're wearing shoes. Okay.
And the cleats, I should walk on the carpet.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, let's get to work. I apologize for that. Let's go. We have C-Mac joining us here in a second, but let's get started. We have a game popping off in 30 minutes, 12:15 p.m. Eastern, South Region, first round. Number 11th ranked Michigan Wolverines, 17-14 versus number 6 Colorado State Rams, 25-5 Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Michigan comes in off their second loss in 3 games, and there is C-Mac ready to rock. Michigan comes in off their second loss in 3 games, 74-69 setback against Indiana in the Big Ten second round. They were up 41-28 at the break before getting beat up in the second half. Indiana shot 53.3% from 3 against them. They had no perimeter defense, and they got lit up in the second half. Colorado State had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 63-58 loss to San Diego State in the Mountain West semifinal. And I spent a ton of time on this game. And I was enamored with Colorado State 6 weeks ago. I love all these guys playing their career together except for one transfer. Yes, they're primed for a run. But how do they stop Hunter in the middle? And my final answer was they can't and don't. and they're going to have to shoot 50% from outside like Indiana did to beat Michigan. And look, I don't think they're going to do it, and I am on Michigan. And not only that, that's the only individual bet I've made on this card today. It's the only and Rant says zone. All right. I mean, you got a coach in Juwan Howard who played against that most of his career. I mean, okay, so take it away here. And first off, Miggity Mac in the house. Great to see you. C-Mac, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Let's rock and roll. I'm ready to rock. Sorry, I know when you always hit me up, I'm always back here. I don't know what this problem is with me not be able to sit in the back. I just come right in. So I'm trying to time it, correctly here.
It's all good.
Because you do amazing intros, Jimmy. So I'm just like, I was trying to I don't know. It's not working, obviously, but we're here. Let's get rolling, baby.
It's all good. It's all good. So I'm on the Wolverines here. I got -1.5. I know there was ones out there. Let's see if there's a one out there now. Now it's a 2. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. We'll talk about market movement. We'll talk about where the money is, but let's go around the horn, starting with you. Nolly knows 12:15 p.m. Eastern, South Region, first round, Michigan, Colorado State.
Yeah, going into this game, I mean, we look at Michigan. I mean, I don't think they really have much business being here. I don't like their resume. I just want to say that. But being that, now they match up here pretty well against Colorado State, like you mentioned down low. But one thing that I like to see a lot was with Colorado State, they were 19-10 to the under this season. And that's something that I love to see. And a big part of that is the pace of play which they play. They run a really slow pace. They are 321st in the nation, 67.1 possessions per game. And they only attempt 54.7 field goal attempts per game. That's only good for 310th in the nation. So a team that really is pushing a slower tempo, but a team that also plays pretty good defense, holding their opponents to just 42% field goal percentage and 32 from the three-point line. And so something that I see here playing here in a neutral court, only one way I'm looking, that's going to be under the total here. Michigan on the other side has also been pretty well defensively, and here playing in this type of environment, I expect them to play a little bit more half court and slow the tempo down. So this is one of my plays here today. I like the under.
The under, I will line shop for you. Before we go over to CMAC, it's come back a little bit, but the sharp money has been on Colorado State for a while now. It's coming back, but 36% of the tickets on Colorado State, 62% of the cash. That's just under 30,000 and 28,346. And from a total perspective, the cash isn't up, but 72% of tickets are on the over. So we'll find out what that cash is at some point. I guess we won't because this game's about to pop off. This total, though, has gone opposite. It's 139.5 it opened at. It's now 137 or 137.5. Take it away here, CMAC. Great work yesterday. Helped me to a monster day, and it helped my trip in San Antonio very, very much. So great guidance. Billy Friedrich sees the under 137.5 at -107 at Bet Online. Take it away here, CMAC, my man, Michigan, Colorado State.
Yeah, it was a good day. And staying off of Virginia, I got a 2.5 later. So it worked. It worked out. Everything worked out.
I pushed
there was
that
a
full
bunch.
game.
Yeah, there was a ton. There was by the end of the day when I did the show later. But let's get to today. You're right, Nolly. These teams, this is what I was looking at, the under in this game. Obviously, the early start, I talk about this ad nauseum sometimes, Saturday mornings, these early games. Some of these kids, the clock's just different starting a game this early. You talked about their adjusted tempo, both outside the 200 here range. Their pace, both aren't very quick. One problem I had, it was in the Big Ten, was Michigan's defense could really be very bad at times. They've stayed under this number, I think, 1 in their last 10 games. But the big key is these teams don't know each other. This is a neutral floor, which I'll continue to bring up. When they even played in the conference tournament, those are teams they see consistently, whether it's Indiana, blah, 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 Michigan State, they know these teams. So a little more feeling out. I always like a little more to the under first half. I didn't get the best of the number. I still think it's decent here at 137.5. I want Colorado State. I don't trust them. I think their seed was too high here. I didn't think Michigan should have gotten either, but that's another story. Shout out to my guy, Prince of the City, saying I got problems. Well, your Michigan team's got problems. Maybe they can get a win right here. but I don't think so. I'd like to take Colorado State. That's a lean for me as well. Rodney and Stevens have to be big here for him. They're the two best players on the floor. And for the Michigan, just give it to Dickinson, give it to him, pound it, pound it, pound it. That's the way Michigan can win. So I have leans. I want Colorado State. I need more points, and I lean under here.
And Nolly, we can get you a 138. There are 137.5s on the board. We can get you a 138 over at Circa. 138 minus 110 for Nolly knows here. And I'm on Michigan minus 1.5. Look, Colorado State shoots. If they shoot like Indiana shot in the second half, they're going to win. So I dare them to do that. And I ended up spending more time on this game than any other game. And so, okay. And CMAC, we do want to talk futures here because we're about to start off in 8 minutes. I didn't bet any futures, but for my brackets and everything, I do have them. Are you, do you have a Final Four picked out? Do you have a winner picked out?
No, I don't bet. I have bet them in the past. I didn't bet any this year.
Yeah. I didn't bet any this year. Cab says, I agree with CMAC, or I'm with CMAC. I agree. I want Colorado State here, but not doing it. So there we go. Nolly's on the under 138 at minus 110. I'm on Michigan to take care of business here and roll. Rodney Barton says, sorry to say it, but Michigan covers this game. And my initial plan was to bet Colorado State. Or maybe I should say bet it, but take them at least in the pools and stuff. And then I could not do it. All right, that's the 12:15 opener. We have all of Thursday's games being broken down right now with Nolly Knows and Conor Mack. We move on to 12:40 p.m. Eastern, the Midwest region, first round, 13 seed South Dakota State Jackrabbits, 30-4 on the year versus number 4 Providence Friars, 25-5. And I want to start here, and I also want to, even though it's not, I want to touch on if it is Providence, Iowa. In the next round, I would like if any of you have any thoughts on the side there, because I went back and forth and ended up on Iowa. But here we go. Let me move this over. Here we go. Pull this up. Sorry, so many things open. Providence. Where the hell are you? Okay, how could it not be here? Oh, I don't know what's going on there. It's not here. So I'll get the market moves here in a second. SBR is having a problem. Action Network is screwing me here. So South Dakota State comes in on a 21-game winning streak. They defeated North Dakota State 75-69 in the Summit League final as 6-point favorites to get this opportunity. Providence comes in having lost 2 of their last 3. And obviously that Big East semifinal is in my head. They look terrible. 30.8% from the field, 12.5% from 3. They couldn't step up in a big moment, losing 85-58. And that's in my head. It's affecting me here. And I don't know how to handle it. We have Providence opening up as 2.5-point favorites, just 2.5. This total opening up at 149.5, now 148 or 147.5. We'll go back and forth for starters. So this time we'll start with you, CMAC. Take it away here, South Dakota, Providence.
Sorry, I wanted to look up. I remember, I'll just go off my head. They lost South Dakota State lost to Alabama earlier this year and a couple other teams. But obviously, they've ripped off 21 straight. This team can score from all over the place. This early start time has me confused. This is everyone's game because everyone thought South Dakota State would be in a game like this, but I don't think they thought it would be 2 points. Everyone has the luck thing with Providence. I think when you're just that good, they got blown out a few times, and that last one, they bounced right back the last time they got blown out. I think it was to Marquette. Here's the deal. The early morning start, I lean to the over, actually, here. And I'm sure Nolly can give me an argument on the under, but South Dakota State can just flat score. 44% from 3. The next team is 4% below that at Colgate at 40%. It's just shocking. They got to hit shots, obviously, and they could be cold early. In these gyms where there's probably not a ton of people. But Providence has got to get back. I think they score easily on the Jackrabbits here. Pound it to Watson inside. He's just a huge presence there with Bynum. I think the number's so short here. I lean to the over, and I lean to Providence because I think they can score. And I think Providence defense has been good at times. It's kind of been hit and miss. It's been very, very strange throughout the year. So this was difficult for me, but I'd only lean over and with the Friars. I think they bounce back. it's always difficult. I'd love if this team was catching 5 or 6 with the Jackrabbits. The way the team shoots, remember I talk about with you all the time, Jimmy, about I want a dog that hits threes, makes their free throws. They do all that. They have 5 guys that can score, decent bench, but they haven't played anybody. Kind of like the Gonzaga thing. So I think they'll give up a ton of points. Obviously, 58 points. Providence shoots it better today. So I lean over here. I'm thinking about making it official. It's even dropped, I see, to 147.5 in some spots. And I think Providence can get it done too, laying the short number.
Well, let's hear what Nolly has to say, and then we'll hear if you make it official. Nolly knows Midwest region first round, South Dakota State, Providence.
Yeah, Conor Mack touched on it a little bit right there, and I'm always talking about the probability of a game going over. And when we look at South Dakota State, and the big reason I stay away from them is that three-point shooting. By far the number 1 team in the nation in three-point shooting percentage. And I say percentage because ultimately they still don't put up too many threes. They only put up 23s a game, ranks about 250th in the nation, but they're very efficient. And if they get hot, they will rattle them off and they will put up 25 or 30. So that's a concern for me in a totals perspective, and a Providence team that they've played well defensively at times, but also they get into these shootouts that you've seen with Xavier earlier in the year and DePaul. So that's a concern for me. But one thing that I'd have seen is their ability to stop the perimeter shooting at 31% defensively. So that's something that I noticed. But something that I heard Conor mention is the fact that Providence going down low, and that's what I see in this game. I don't see them being stopped down low, getting rims, getting buckets all day down low, and that's going to push the pace a little bit. So for me, I would lean towards the over with Conor, but not getting involved at all in this game.
Ooh-wee. Is that enough? Is that we have a vouch?
Yeah, maybe. I was going to say they're going to be able to pound it just like Nolly said with Watson. They are one thing. The Jackrabbits aren't a very big team, and I think they're going to get abused here in the paint. So, yep, I haven't decided yet on this game, but I lean Providence in the over.
Take your time, leaning to Providence and the over. Let's roll on. 1:45 p.m. Eastern. We're in the West region, first round, Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Number 9, Memphis Tigers, 21-10 versus number 8, Boise State Broncos, 27-7. I've gone back and forth on this game. In my pools, I ended up on Memphis, but not wholeheartedly. Very nervous about this spot. Let's move over to where the cash lies. And by the way, in the game we just spoke of, 25,118 tickets in, 53% of the tickets, 77% of the cash on South Dakota State. That's wild. 65% of the tickets on the over, and just 24% of cash on the over, which is another very interesting stat. And then we move over to Memphis, Boise State, rotation number 745, 746. We have just under 22,000 tickets in, 30% of the tickets on Boise, 37% of the cash on Boise. And then we have 37% of the tickets on the under, but 96% of the cash on that under. Wow. Let's see if that is the same with the Action Network. Is this going down? The total has dropped. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's gone from 136.5 down to 133.5. And Memphis is just taking money, opening up at -1.5. FanDuel and PointsBet have moved them to -4. Memphis had their 6-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 71-53 loss to Houston in the final of the ACC. A slap in the face that sometimes helps in the tourney. Boise State finished the season on a 3-game winning streak, culminated in a big 53-52 win over San Diego State in the Mountain West final. So we will go back to you, Nolly, switching back and forth. Nolly, take it away here, Memphis, Boise State.
Yeah, when you mentioned that total and the big reason why it's dropping, you look at some of these numbers, some of the basic numbers that I look at. We look at possessions per game and field goal attempts per game. Boise State ranks 330th in the nation in possessions per game. And we talk about field goal attempts per game, 316th in the nation, just 54 field goal attempts per game. So what does that mean? They move the ball around a lot before they shoot. That's what that means. And they're shooting just 21 threes per game, ranks about 220th in the nation, shooting 34%. So those numbers are going to pretty much lead you to believe that the game goes under the total. But when I look at 133.5 and with this Memphis team, the Memphis team is what worries me here in this game and how erratic they've been in a totals perspective. The last 2 games have stayed under the total, but if you look back their previous 8 games, they just alternate between the under and the over. Totals going from 138 to 145 to 130. So even the line makers going back and forth on what this team has done. And that's the problem here, because a team that, even though they run a slower tempo, they don't take care of the basketball very well. They average 16 turnovers a game. I have written down somewhere here that ranks them 353rd in the nation. So turnovers lead to easy buckets, which is the reason why some of their totals have gone over the total. But when I look at the field goal attempts and some of the basic numbers that I look at, I lean towards the under, but the number that it's at, I couldn't take it, so I stayed off this game.
Very, very interesting. And you guys know our rules here. Someone can come on to our chat and be dick all they want. Just don't. Who cares? Like, don't give them any oxygen. You'd only get bounced for racism, spam, things of that nature. Maybe he's a little close to spam with all of the comments, but you can be a dick all you want. Who gives? We don't give a fuck about this guy. Let's get back to C-Mac. Take it away. Memphis, Boise State.
Yeah, this Memphis team is playing really, really good, and they're getting a lot of love. Obviously, I think they're a little bit the more athletic team here. Maybe Hardaway's finally got this team ready to roll and make a run. If I like Memphis, I'd like them early. One thing I can't get out of my head all year is Boise State can get gritty, can keep and stay in a ball game like Nolly talked about. They hold the ball possessions, especially in the second half. This team has found way to win games. Maybe they're probably right under Providence, maybe with a little bit of the luck. And some of those were. But this team ended up winning the Mountain West. And as a dog, they've covered 7 of their last 8. I love that this money's going to Memphis. So full game, I want the 3.5 with Boise State. I think they keep this game close. And Nolly's right. The total here is just too low for me. This Memphis, it could just creep over here. But in a Boise game, I like an under. I think their defense is what's going to surprise Memphis, even how athletic they are. So give me Boise State plus 3.5 here.
We can get you a 4. It's now a 4. There's a 4.
What's the
minus 109? Minus
okay,
109
I'll take that.
Available at Circa, and yeah. So it's and let's just see, because it's 101 3.5 over at Pinnacle. Plus 4 minus 109 in Pinnacle as well. So you are in a business. A plus 4 at minus 109 for Boise State. And big shout out to Twate Latte. Thank you so much for the dono, my man. It means a ton. Okay, we can say this is spam now. It's too much. Too much. So let's hide him. Now he's clogging up the chat. So we can bounce him. Okay, that I consider spam. You can be a dick, but you can't fill up the whole chat. Okay, so we have C-Mac in with a Boise plus 4 minus 109. We move on to 2 p.m. Eastern, East Region, first round, number 16, Norfolk State Spartans versus number 1, Baylor Bears, Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. This is no time for that. We got to focus. We got to stay focused. And I consider that spam. So let's stick together here. Let's go. So Norfolk State comes in on a 6-game winning streak that culminated in a 72-57 win at home over Coppin State in the MEAC final. Baylor comes in off having their 5-game winning streak snapped in a surprise 72-67 loss to Oklahoma in the Big 12 quarters at 7.5-point favorites. I don't have Baylor in my Final Four. I don't have Gonzaga in my Final Four. And, obviously it's very dangerous when you're talking about a defending champion. This total opened up at 138. It's now 137.5. Baylor is sitting as 20-point favorites right now. 20-point favorites. And there are some 20.5s on the board. 12,306 tickets in, not a lot. And 41% of the tickets on Norfolk and 46% of the cash. Then you have 60% of the tickets on the under and 96% of cash on the under, yet it's not moving. Wild. Wild. So we're going to go back to CMAC opening this one up. Take it away. Norfolk State Spartans, Baylor Bears.
Yeah, this game's a pass for me. I think Norfolk could hang around. I just don't trust them, obviously, in who they play. Howard, Coppin, Morgan. Baylor can do whatever they want here. I think you could look at a Baylor first half or a team total with them full game. I remember some of the games early on. I know it's November, different team, but they lost like to New Mexico. Not a very good defensive team, as Nolly knows, 68-54. Xavier blew them out 88-48. I think it's just how much Baylor is focused here in this one. But I think they get the job done. Obviously a massive number. So it's a pass, but I'd look that way. I'd look first half for team total if you're looking to make a bet on Baylor.
You would look first half team total over on Baylor.
I look, yeah, or take them first half minus, what is it, 10.5, something like that.
I imagine it'd be more if it's a 20.
11.5.
Let me just pull up let me pull up Pinnacle's first half here. We'll head over to, sorry, it's taking so long. Should be line shopping faster. Here we go. 20.5 is the full game at Pinnacle, and the first half is at 12.
Yeah, 12.
12.
I'd still do it. Norfolk, I don't trust them. When they get to Texas Southern, these are some bad. They would have to shoot it really well. I mean, Baylor should be able to smother them. I mean, they're going to have trouble down the line, but I don't think so here early.
The team total is 39.5 at Baylor. That's heavily juiced to the under. So heavily juiced to the under. Big shout out to Jake Kaiser. Says March Madness, what a glorious 4-day weekend with a $10 dono. Jake, thank you so much for looking out for us, man. You've supported us since day one and love it, man. Get to San Antonio and roll with us. Take it away here. Nolly knows Norfolk Baylor.
Yeah, Norfolk State, a team that I've dabbled around a little bit here on the season, 15-11 to the under, a team that runs a bit of a slower tempo with 57 field goal attempts per game. But a big problem that I mentioned with Memphis is the turnovers with this team, especially going against a Baylor team that we all know revolves around the defense. Norfolk State ranked 302nd in the nation with 14 turnovers per game. I think that's going to be a big problem for them because I looked at maybe potentially taking the number when I see a 20, right? Maybe it gets me looking, but hard to do that when they have an inability to protect the ball, which is going to lead to easy buckets for Baylor. Big step up in talent for Norfolk here. So are they going to be able to defend how they've been able to defend on the year? Because defensively, they looked really good, 37% overall defensively and 28.7% from three. So a team that's fared pretty well, but like I mentioned, in their conference against lesser opponents. So I think this is a big step up here. And I think Baylor puts everybody on notice here with this game. So I'm staying away from it total-wise, everything. There's other games.
There you have it. Let's move on to the next game. 2:45 p.m. Eastern, South Region, first round. We have the 14th seed Longwood Lancers. What season they had? 26-6 at number 3. Tennessee Volunteers 26-7. We're at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have Longwood opening up as 18-point dogs. It's moved to 17.5 at a couple books. 18 it stayed at most. The total opened up at 135. We now see 133. And 132 in a half. And there's the big Ragu in the house. Great to see you, Doc. Thanks for joining us. We move over to the cash in this spot here. And we have, where is it? I just saw long. There we have 15,396 tickets in. 41% of the tickets on Longwood and 58% of the cash. That surprises me. We see more big bets coming in on this under. 23% of the tickets on the under and 68% of cash on the under. Billy Friedrich says, time for the Rick Barnes fade. And there's C. James in the house. Says, Jimmy, what up? Love the show, my guy. Love from Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for your support, C. James. Love right back at you, my man. Longwood comes in on an 8-game winning streak, culminating in a very comfortable 79-58 romp over Winthrop in the Big South Final. Tennessee comes off their 7th straight win, 65-50 over Texas A&M, to win their first SEC tournament in 43 years. Nolly knows Longwood, Tennessee.
Yeah, you look at these two teams that are actually built similarly in their respective conferences, putting up similar points per game and allowing similar points per game. And a big part of it, the defense and a slower tempo. Longwood running just 59 field goal attempts per game, and a team that's really been doing it defensively, like I mentioned, the last 4 games. Same thing that we see out of Tennessee, not allowing their opponents to get over 60 points on average for the last 3 games. So 2 teams that are going to be very defensive minded, but how does Longwood step up? I know I'm earlier in the year against Iowa, got punched in the mouth, and then on the road against Georgetown, also lost by double digits, able to put up 80 points against Georgetown, but who hasn't? You know, so I think that's a difficulty trying to analyze how these 2 teams match up coming in a step up of class. When we talk about the totals perspective, what I've noticed out of Tennessee and Longwood really clamping it down, and the totals perspective that I like. But the problem is when I've been involved with Tennessee in the past, laying these many points, these guys become bullies down low, and they're very physical. And I think that's going to be a problem for Longwood. And being that physical and down low, I think leads to easier buckets. So to me, I want to stay away from this game, but I would lean towards Tennessee with laying the points.
All right, leaning towards a volunteer slaughter here. CMAC, take it away. Longwood, Tennessee.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the chat, fade Rick Barnes. But I think this could be his best team in a long time, especially defensively. And they've shocked me how they won the SEC conference. But I think down the line, they do choke and lose. But one thing that could keep them is defense. And one thing all year, I want Longwood. I was trying to make a case for Longwood first half here. I just can't do it. Tennessee's defense is so good. And I remember I took Presbyterian early on in the year, and they just trounced them. You should see these scores on these teams, just like Longwood. Presbyterian, 86-44. Greensboro, 76-36. Upstate, 96-52. East Tennessee State, 94-64. Tennessee Martin, 90-62. They just pounded these teams, a team like Longwood, who had a decent year, but they're right competitive with those teams I just listed off. And even in their conference, some of those teams. I can't take Longwood here. I think Tennessee gets by easy today. So, yeah, this is a stay off for me.
Okay, we got Dabby Cabs action in. Just copied and paste that. Memphis -2.5 full game. North Carolina -2.5 full game. Arkansas -2.5 first half. Says no time for pussyfooting. That's what Dabby Cabs says. No time for pussyfooting. Okay, we move on to the 310 Midwest region. We've already heard from the great Dennis Garcia that Iowa is not going to get past Richmond. Let's talk about this spot. 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Number 12th ranked Richmond Spiders, 23-12. At number 5 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes, 26-9. And there's razor sharp picks in the houses. I like the under in this game. In this game here that we're talking. Sorry, we're switching games. In this Richmond Iowa game, razor. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. God, I wish I was down there for this. Let's take a look at what we are dealing with. We have Richmond opening up as 9.5-point dogs, now 10-point dogs. Clearly a team rolling right now. And we have this total at 154.5 and now down to 150.5, a 4-point drop. Makes you think, could this veteran-laden squad like Iowa lose to a hot Richmond Spiders squad? Dennis Garcia thinks that they can. 59% of the tickets on Iowa and 57% of the cash. So there's a lot of believers like Dennis. Now, on the money line, it's different, obviously. But interestingly enough, again, Richmond has 59% of the money line tickets, but 10% of the cash. Smaller bets for a bigger score. I get it. Then 74% of tickets on the over. So the public on the over, but just 16% of the cash. And we've seen this total drop 4 points. Richmond comes in off their 4th straight win, 64-62 over Davidson in the A-10 final. Big run that took them from their conference 6th seed to the big dance. Iowa comes in off their 4th straight win, 75-66 at home over Purdue in the Big Ten final. CMAC, we start with you. Richmond Spiders, Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, this game is interesting to me. This Iowa team playing their best basketball of the year. Obviously, they have the best player on the court. I think he's maybe one of the best in the country in Murray. They still have Bohannon. They've kind of done it defensively. Obviously, they're going to score 80 or around there. I think they get there, And I don't know if Richmond can score. One thing Richmond kind of changed up, Nolly, which he became an under team. They kept teams, slowed the pace down, played great defense. And this was a team I couldn't ever bet on. I thought I'd always fade them. They'd always get their ass kicked, especially in the second half. So I have a slight lean to Richmond early here. I think in the end, I was just too good and will win. But I have a little I want to take maybe Richmond early. I haven't decided yet. And this total is high. It's come down. And I could see something, 78-64 in the end. So I saw this from so many angles. This one made me go in circles. I don't know what Richmond team we're going to get, but I think they come out well. And the big key is, can they shoot it well? Because one thing in this kind of win streak, they've kept games real low scoring, been kind of efficient. But I don't know if I can trust them shooting the ball. And I think Iowa just gets up and down so quick. It's hard to take an under in an Iowa game. Their last 7 NCAA games too, they're 7-0. A game with them just seems to find its way over. Unless it's a blowout, like I was talking about, and it can stay under, like I said, like a 78-62 type game. And that way you'd like Iowa if you think that's going to happen. So tough one here for me. It was a pass.
Let's hear what Nolly Knows has to say about this big market move towards the under, but the public on the over. Take it away here, Richmond, Iowa.
Yeah, Conor mentioned it. There's a contrast in styles, I guess, if you look at the over-unders. Richmond 20-15 to the under this season, but Iowa the opposite, 23-12 to the over. And you mentioned it a lot. They put up 80 points almost every game. A lot of that coming at home, though. Sometimes they're putting up 100 and things of that nature. Richmond, if you look down the stretch, if you look 5 of the last 7 games have stayed under the total. 10 of the last 15 games have stayed under the total. And this total being up there because of Iowa. When we talk about Richmond and this type of team in this type of situation, this is an upset alert if I look at this team. When you look at the players on this team, they've been together 5 and 6 years. They've been together for a long time, and these guys are older guys. And when I look at that, and I remember in the past, those are the type of teams that come out and upset. Do I expect them to do that against this Iowa team? I don't. But the 10 points does look pretty good, and I would lean towards the under because of how high it is. But I'm not involved in this game, but I would say Richmond in the under.
Well, of all that we've talked about here thus far, of the games up to this point, this one to me seems like maybe it's pull the trigger time on Richmond getting the 10.5 with Iowa coming off that big win in the Big Ten final and feeling good about themselves. And very, very
you
interesting.
Think early though, Jimmy? You want to go full game or first half there?
No, I would go full game here instead. When I like the Maryland Eastern Shore first half cash yesterday, I was very nervous about them being able to stick around with this basketball team. The whole idea was that they were going to be taken lightly. Here, Richmond's a good basketball team. And they're hot at the right time. And that was an impressive run. I mean, you beat Davidson 64-62. I mean, Davidson's a good basketball team. And so...
Yes. It's a lot of points on a neutral floor.
Yeah, so this is the first one of what my only bet right now is Michigan. There's Tone Miggins in the house. Great to have Tone running with us. And Razor Sharp Pick says Richmond can't win a shootout. They will slow the pace down big time.
Yeah, they're going to want to do that. That old Richmond team, they're like, that's kind of the past. So, yeah, they need to slow it down. Be in it.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. I lost track who we went first with last time. We went from C-Mac to Nolly on that last one. So
I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Okay, we'll get rolling with Nolly here at 4:15 p.m. Eastern in the number 16th ranked Georgia State Panthers 18-10 versus Gonzaga Bulldogs 26-3. We're in the West Region first round. We're back in Portland. This game pops off at 4:15 Eastern. So we're gonna jump over to the situation we have. We have Georgia State opening up at 25.5. That's down to plus 22.5. Down to plus 2.5 against the Bulldogs. This total is opened up at 148.5, and it's creeping up. We see 149s and 149.5s here. Then when we go to the cash in this Zags game, we have 15,988 tickets in. Listen to this, 20% of the tickets on Georgia State, 67% of the cash, and a big 3-point move towards them. Then we have 33% of tickets on the over, but 53% of cash on the over, which is very interesting. And by the way, Razor Sharp Picks has put $200 on both the Longwood, Tennessee under and the Richmond, Iowa under. Georgia State, Gonzaga. Georgia State comes in off their 10th straight win, 80-71 over the Raging Cajuns in the Sun Belt final. Gonzaga bounced back from that regular season defeat, the last game of the regular season, 67-57 at St. Mary's, to defeat San Francisco 81-71 in the WCC semis. Then got their revenge over St. Mary's 82-69 in the final, where they pulled away late in that game. We'll start with you. Nolly knows Georgia State, Gonzaga.
Yeah, another team in Gonzaga, like you mentioned with Richmond, has made an adjustment defensively. I've noticed that quite a bit. And you look at it over the last 9 games, 7 of those last 9 games have stayed under the total and by margin. And the big reason for it is their defense. They've had to find other ways to win games because their offense isn't as prolific as it has been in the past. I watched that game against St. Mary's, and although you see that 13-point lead, it was very methodical, and they're actually lucky to cover that number. Shout out to my guy Ski watching that game with him. But yeah, I think Georgia State here in this spot is outclassed, though. I think Gonzaga puts them on notice. These type of numbers, I mean, it's hard to bet, but I think Gonzaga does come out early. But man, those just 13. I just look at the numbers, 13 and 22. I think those numbers are crazy to see in the tournament. But Gonzaga is a very efficient team this season. But me, I think I'm looking more as a totals perspective, and I'm leaning towards the under. What I'm waiting to see is if the number goes up. Where it sits right now, I think it goes up 2 more points. If I get 151, somewhere in that range, I am going to attack the under, because when you also look at Georgia State, they've been a pretty good under team on the season, 17-8 to the under. So that's somewhere where I'm going to look at the 9-4 to the under the last 13 games. So that's somewhere the only way that I'm going to be looking in this game. But I think I can wait a little bit and get a couple more points.
All right, going to wait here. By the way, 14-9 Colorado State. Colorado State hitting threes. We are 5.5 minutes into that game. Let's see what C-Mac has to say about this spot. Georgia State, Gonzaga.
I'll be short here. They're just outclassed here. Georgia State is. I thought this could have been even higher, as you've seen in some years past. I thought this could have been 26 even, and I think Gonzaga has trouble down the line. I mean, maybe they get to the Final Four, like I always say, but I don't think they cut down the nets. It's easy here. I think they get the job done. You could go look at them first half. Georgia State played, I remember back in November, I watched a game against Rhode Island, I believe it was. Rhode Island beat them like 93-68 or something like that. I mean, obviously a different team, but in conference they play Lafayette and all these other, teams like that, South Alabama. Gonzaga should take care of business. Like Nolly said, just massive number. They gotta cover by 15 in the first half or 14, and if they let off the gas pedal a little bit, but I think they cover here. If I free bet, just lay it with the chalk here with Gonzaga.
And you're getting a much better number than you were getting before. Okay, yeah. Let's keep rolling. Razor Sharp says, March Madness officially underway. Let's go 8 days. I'll be in San Antonio with the squad, capping sports and horses. I can't wait. And I can't wait to talk about this game. 4:30 p.m. Eastern, East Region, first round. Number 9 seed Marquette Golden Eagles, 19-12 versus number 8 seed North Carolina Tar Heels 24-9, Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. We have North Carolina opening up as 3-point favorites. It's moved to 3.5. This total opening up at 151.5 has gone up a point to 152.5. We have 17,275 tickets in, and it's all towards North Carolina. 77% of the tickets, 88% of the cash. And the total is being bet to the over. 63% of the tickets, but 85% of the cash to the over. Marquette comes in off their second loss in 3 games, 74-63 to Creighton in the Big East quarterfinals. North Carolina had their impressive late season 6-game winning streak come to an end. in a 72-59 loss to Virginia Tech in the ACC semis. C-Mac, we start with you. Marquette, North Carolina.
Yeah, this is one that I think points will be scored here. Obviously, this total is very high. I don't know if it gets there on the total here. I've gone back and forth here. This North Carolina team's kind of been like Michigan I brought up all year long. You know, can you trust them? They win one. They look so good. They beat down Virginia, then they lose, and they lay up an egg. They really just rely on the, Manic, Baycott, the big guy down low. It's just them and nobody else. They do shoot it a lot better than they have in the past. The three does North Carolina. Marquette has played to the over all year long. But they have really stumbled down the stretch. Marquette was a team I was betting on. Man, I don't know, 9 out of 10. They're back in January, February when they were rolling, beating Villanova. They just kind of fell off, and they're not playing their best basketball right now. Tough game here. I think it could go either way. If I had to, I'd wait and see if I could maybe get the points with Marquette. But this is nothing I'm jumping to bet here.
Interesting. Nolly knows. Take it away, Marquette, North Carolina.
Yeah, a little distracted here. I was trying to see if I catch on live, but they're being stingy, man. 23 points in those first 6 minutes, and they only giving me 4 points more. Anyways,
what do you live at? I've got 139.5 at my book. What do you have? Now 138.
Yeah, it went down to 138, but I went right at that timeout, and they were only giving me 143, and it just at that rate, it was just too low. So I was gonna get involved again, but we're right back down to our original number.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Anyways, Marquette, North Carolina. Yeah, two teams pushing the tempo quite a bit, over 60 field goal attempts per game. And the big thing that I look at when I talk about the probability of games going over, and this one has a probability of going over, the fact that they shoot a lot of threes. 23 threes for North Carolina and 25 threes for Marquette. So if these teams start hitting their threes, and which they can, this game sails over. You look at their matchup last year on February 24th, getting to 153 total points, Marquette winning that game. But here in this game, I think North Carolina might fare off a little bit better. I like the way they've been able to play offensively, but not a team that I like to back because of the lack of defense here on the season, allowing over 70 points per game. And a big part of it allowing a high field goal percentage, over 48 effective field goal percentage. I couldn't spit it out. But here I'm looking one way. I lean towards the over, and I'm close to taking this one.
Ooh.
Yeah, real quick. They've been on the decline, Marquette, like someone put in the chat. But early on in the year, Marquette, and they still finished best defensively in the Big East against the three at 31%. But just not the same team as of late. And I agree. I kind of over and nothing on the side. For me, if I had it for you, I'd want the points, but I'm not going to get involved in the side.
So I like that run North Carolina had at the end of the year, and losing to VTech in the ACC semis with the way they were playing. I mean, there's no harm, no foul. They will go on to win the conference tournament. But clearly the public's on North Carolina, and that makes me nervous. But I wanted to be talked into moving on North Carolina here, and I was kind of hoping that would be the situation. Let me ask you, Nolly, if you had a free $500 bet on side only, what would you do?
Yeah, I would rock with North Carolina.
C-Mac, and you would move on Marquette?
Yeah.
And Billy Friedrich says North Carolina the square play. I get it. Dan Kelly says if Nolly says over, I double down. That's what Dan Kelly says. And a lot of surprise in the chat with the Nolly saying over. Do we still have the over video? We don't need it now. We need to focus. But let me know. Jose says no. We do not have the that over video that we made. Okay. Twatty says double down. Nolly double down. And C James got 151.5. Great job there. Dennis Garcia says Marquette money line. Okay, let's move on to 6:50 p.m. Eastern, the West Region first round, number 12th ranked New Mexico State Aggies, 26-6 versus number 5 ranked UConn Huskies, 23-9. We're at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York for this one. New Mexico State opening up as 7-point dogs. That's moved to 6.5. FanDuel just moved it to 6. This total's dropped from 134.5 down to 131.5. We have Sorry, let me pull up where the cash is on this one. Where the is this game? Sorry. God, there's too many games here. There we go. 16,468 tickets in. 49% of the tickets on New Mexico State and 64% of the cash. And we see the market moving towards them. Then from a total perspective, 69% of tickets on the over and 51% of cash on the over. After surprise losses to Chicago State and Stephen F. Austin, and then after losing to Chicago State, not stepping up against Stephen F. Austin was interesting. The Aggies closed their regular season with a win. A nice, comfortable 62-46 win over Utah Valley. Then they beat Grand Canyon 75-70 in the WAC semis, then 66-52 over Abilene Christian in the finals to have this opportunity. UConn's lost 2 of their last 4 games. They were last seen in a very tight 63 loss to Villanova in the Big East semis, where they look quite good. Take it away here. We will start with I'm sorry. Who we start with? We'll start with you, Nolly. New Mexico State, UConn Huskies.
Yeah, I was the last one that went last time. Anyway,
I can go.
Yeah, these 2 teams here, I'm excited for this game, and a big part of it is we talk about pace of play, but not just that. We talk about defense. New Mexico State here defensively ranks 19th in the nation in an effective field goal percentage allowing just 45.5%, and UConn Huskies don't fall too far behind that, allowing just 45.7, good for 25th in the nation. And we look at a totals perspective for UConn, 4 straight unders. 7 of the last 9 games have stayed under the total. A big part defense, and a team doesn't push a great deal of tempo, but I think their numbers might indicate that they do a little bit more because of some of the teams that they played in their conference. But with a team like New Mexico running about 56 field goal attempts per game, ranking them right about 210th in the nation, I believe this tempo will slow down significantly. And being that it's on a neutral court, is going to take time for these guys to adjust. And I like the under here. I hate that it's crashed as much as it has. I did get a couple more points last night, but I still like it. I think it lands in the 120s.
All right, looking at an under here. Let me grab it here. This is the New Mexico State Aggies, UConn Huskies. Looking at an under. I'm the line shop for Nolly Knows. Let's head over to CMAC and hear what he thinks.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be in the 60s as well. Like you talked about, Nolly, it's just crashed a little bit too much. I think the total's pretty sharp here. I can't jump on it now. Obviously, I think UConn's a little bit better and talented here. They have trouble late in games. Sanogo, obviously the big man, RJ Cole is unbelievable guard. They have problem at end of games. I tell Max this all the time. He knows the free throws, the turnovers. And I think it could get like that. If New Mexico State can hang in, that could be a problem for UConn. And I wish that we were getting – the book has some of these, like that Providence game at 2. They know everything that's going on, where in years past the line would be different. This line would have been 9.5, 10, and that's what I really wanted. But I lean really strong. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I lean strong to New Mexico State. They really just didn't play anybody. And then the game with Chicago State, like you talked about, but then they just took care of business in the conference tourney. I have a strong lean in New Mexico State. I just wish I was getting more than 6.5. It's just not, I need more, but that's my lean here. I think they could keep it close.
A lean towards the Aggies, and Nolly, we can get you a 132.5. So at least we can beat some of those other books. That's available at Circa right now, 132.5 at -109. Derek Miller saying, New Mexico State has beaten or played nobody.
They haven't beat anybody too much. I mean, they beat Davidson. That's about their best win. They didn't really play anybody all year long. They beat Washington State 64-61. That was a little bit of an issue. But neutral floor, everything's a go here. This is the tournament. It's going to get wild.
Well, let's head back to the East Region first round and Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we have a team that I started becoming a fan of in the number 15 seed St. Peter's Peacocks, 19-11 on the season, versus whom I believe will win the whole thing, the number 2 seed Kentucky Wildcats. Let's talk about this spot right now. We have St. Peter's opening up at +15.5. They're up to +17.5. This total opened up at 133. We see 132s on the board. When we get over to the cash in this Kentucky yucky spot, we have – I was wrong, man. I don't know why. Here we go. 13,101 tickets in. 67% of the tickets on Kentucky. 72% of the cash on Kentucky. Then 61% of tickets on the under, 57% of cash on the under. St. Peter's defense helped them get hot at the right time. They come in on a 7-game winning streak, culminated in 60-54 win over Monmouth in the Metro, MAAC Metro final. Kentucky comes in off having their 3-game winning streak snapped and a 69-62 loss to Tennessee in the SEC semis. CMAC, and now I've written down who goes first each time, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. CMAC, St. Peter's, Kentucky, take it away.
Yeah, I think this game's pretty interesting. Can St. Peter's step up here with Kentucky? They can play defense, this team. It's just the conference they play in, especially towards the last 2 months of the year. They played unreal defense and even got into the top 30. But you're going against a Kentucky team that's just going to eat them up, I think. But I'd be leery of laying the points with Kentucky here. And one thing is, Kentucky with a team like St. Peter's, they are going to have a trouble scoring in this one. If I were to go anywhere here, which I've been looking at, would be the full game under in this spot.
Looking at the full game under in St. Peter's, Kentucky. Nolly, do you think that St. Peter's strong defense can help them at all here against Kentucky?
Well, I think when we look at this stuff, it's not necessarily just their ability to play defense, but their pace of play. You know, they're really slow pace. They rank 314th in the nation, just 54 field goal attempts per game. And not just that, they don't shoot up very many threes. They rank 338th in the nation, just shooting up 16.6 threes per game. And so being a slower tempo, and even on the other side with Kentucky, they only put up 17.6 threes per game. So another team that's not really shooting up a lot of threes is going to be how are they going to be able to defend down low? And St. Peter's has done that well throughout the season, but more so lately, especially total's perspective. 5 of the last 6 games have stayed under the total. It's time for defense, and that's the only way that they can look to be competitive in this game. So I like the under here. I just like the probability of it staying under, the pace at which they play, and the lack of threes that they put up. So I think the number is just a little too high for this one.
Nolly looking at the under in St. Peter's Peacocks, Kentucky Wildcats. We move on in our line shop for you there to the East region. We go back to the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. This game is going to be incredible. Number 12 seed Indiana Hoosiers, 21-13 versus the 5 seed St. Mary's Gales. And man, that was an impressive run in the Big Ten tourney by Indiana, and has given them quite an opportunity here. They open up as 2.5-point dogs. That hasn't changed. And by the way, that live totaled down to 127.5 in Michigan, Colorado State. 2013 lead for Colorado State. And South Dakota State, Providence just about to pop off. We have this total here in Indiana St. Mary's opening up at 126.5, has dropped to 124.5. Sammy Culmer says Indiana money line here. Very, very interesting spot. We have the Hoosiers. This is rotation number 747, 748. Just 6,935 tickets in. Have 53% of the tickets. So the public is on them a little bit, but just 38% of the cash. And then we don't have a ticket count for the totals, but 97% of the cash right now is on the under, and it has moved 2 points. After that impressive run in the Big Ten tournament, they lose in the last second loss to Iowa in the semis, and they carry that momentum over to a 66-58 win over Wyoming in the 12 seed playing game. St. Mary's had their impressive 5-game winning streak that included a 10-point win over Gonzaga in their last game of the regular season. That was at home. Gonzaga did get the revenge, defeating the Gales 82-69 in the WCC final. Nolly knows East Region first round, Indiana St. Mary's.
Yeah, when I initially look at this game and I look at this matchup before I look at the line, I'm going to initially think to the under. We talk about pace of play. I keep reiterating the same things, field goal attempts and 3-point shooting. Indiana just putting up 57 field goal attempts and under 23 points per game, and a team with St. Mary's that has been very efficient defensively. But the problem here with the number that I see at 124, I think to me is just a bit too low. I see Indiana rattling off 4 of the last 6 games, staying under the total. But when we look at both of these teams since January 27th, a combined over almost 30 games. We're talking 27 games in that span between the two, and only 4 of those games have gone over this number. So I understand the adjustment because being neutral court and being the environment, but I just think this one's adjusted a little too low. So I would lean towards the over where it sits right now, but just not getting involved in this game.
Another spot where Nolly knows leaning towards the over. I remember his over.
So dramatic.
Over in the Super Bowl. Take it away here, C-Mac, Indiana, St. Mary's.
The little bit of this problem is this has come down for me as well. But and I worry about, this is the biggest key. It happened the other day in the North Texas State game. The only way that game was getting over is it went to OT, or this gets to a point where there's 6-7 point lead and we get free throws to get this over. I'm on the under here. St. Mary's is going to drag this into the slow. Obviously, you talked about Indiana, middle of the pack. I still don't think they shoot it that well, especially tempo and pace in the Big Ten. St. Mary's, I think this was kind of one first to 60 wins. And even, can you give me a 126?
I will shop for you. I'm still kind of trying to get Nolly in here for his the under 132 in that Kentucky game, and that's what I can get him. I can get him that 132 right now. Sorry, I will shop for you here under 132 Nolly for St. Peter's, Kentucky. 132 minus 107. If anybody can beat that, please let me know, and then we will shop for this under for you in Hoosiers Gales. Twatty says low key like Indiana. Row your boat, talking about Michigan down 7 early. So going to shop for you on this under for CMAC. And we're going to move on to the next spot. 7:27 p.m. East. Oh, speaking of which, sorry. Thank you guys for reminding me. Taint. The Taint play of the day is on those very Hoosiers. Indiana plus 2.5 from Taint. And Dan Kelly said that he bet St. Mary's. There we go. The Taint is in, and THC is Rizza. Not comfortable with Taint. But Taint is in. And big shout out to our very own Matty Ice for always sharing his hard work with us. Then we move on, and CMAC, we will start with you here first. Midwest region, first round, number 9 seed Creighton Blue Jays, 22-11 versus number 8 seed San Diego State, 23-8. We're at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, and I think I've screwed myself here, honestly, in my pools. I ended up moving with San Diego State, and I'm not with no confidence now whatsoever. I think I may have made a mistake here not backing Creighton. Creighton opening up at +2. They're now +2.5. This total's gone up from 119.5 to 121.5. And I don't see a 126 anywhere right now in Indiana St. Mary's, but I'll keep looking. Let me know if anyone can find one. So in this Creighton San Diego spot, 14,702 tickets in, 49% of the tickets on San Diego State, and 67% of the cash. Then we have 58% of the tickets on San Diego State and 86% of the cash on the under. After defeating Marquette 74-63 in the Big East quarters and then destroying Providence 85-58 in the semis. Creighton was down 54-48 in the Big East Finals against Nova, and they look good in that game. Well, they look good defensively. San Diego State had their 6-game winning streak snapped in a tight 53-52 loss to Boise State in the Mountain West Final. Take it away here, C-Mac. Creighton, San Diego State.
Yeah, this is another one. I wouldn't be too scared of the total here. I know it's moved up to 121. Since Nebhard's been out, the Creighton's had to play a different style of basketball than they had earlier in the year. They have to go slow, kind of use their size inside and their defense that helps them out on the other side. And we know San Diego State, this team, I mean, man, it's tough to watch at times, but if you like unders, it's good. And even at these numbers lately, 118, they've been staying under. So right here, I'm leery of people like at San Diego State a little too much. I think Creighton, if you could wait or you could get a 3 with Creighton, I think that'd be the move. And I'd only look under here. Even at this total, I think this could stay under the total.
I feel like I've made a mistake here. Do you want to move on the total? Or are you waiting for it to keep going?
Not right now.
We got you a 125.5 at -110. It's available at Circa. It's the same line being available at BetMGM. Nolly knows. Take it away. Creighton, San Diego State.
Yeah. Excuse me. Conor mentioned it right there. We talk about San Diego State, a team that really slow team, a team that ranks 313th in the nation in possessions per game. You look at their field goal attempts per game, 55 field goal attempts per game. And if you've been watching the show, under 60 is slow. Under 57, you're talking the bottom tier. And you look at three-point shooting, 17 three-point field goal attempts per game, a very low probability of them shooting threes and making them at that rate. And we talk about Creighton on the other side. They've been kind of up and down. We talk about pace of play. Early in the season, through the first 5 to 7 games around that span, they were the slowest tempo team in the nation. Then they picked it up, and now they're right back down to go into another slow tempo. 5 of the last 6 games staying under the total and by margin. You look at the last game against Villanova, 102 points combined in that game. So they're not afraid to make the game good, get ugly. And another team in San Diego State, their last game reaching exactly the same number, 105 points. So unlike the other game in the 125 range, this one at 120, I like the under. And these are games that are typical right around this range. It goes up 1 or 2 points. That's what I've been seeing over the last month and a half of the season, and they've stayed under by margin. So, yeah, like Conor said, don't be afraid. Drop the purse, and I'm on this under.
The under. Okay, let's lock it in, and this is official for you as well, C-Mac?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of saving it for the other show, but I mean, you could just make it official here, I guess.
Okay.
It's trying to spread out some of these games, but
for sure. No, all good.
Don't be
Lock it
stingy. Don't be stingy.
I'm not.
We move on to 9:20 p.m. Eastern. And by the way, Michigan getting destroyed right now. It was a plus 10.5 that I almost bet, and I stopped myself. Now it's plus 9.5, and now it's 8.5. I promised myself that I wouldn't live bet games I don't watch.
Yeah, don't.
Well, I mean, if you're going to bet, at least look at the numbers. You got to look at something. You can't just be blind betting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
you can't just go off your initial
it.
instinct. You at least got to look at the numbers, you know, at least.
I'm not going to do it. I got to stick to this rule, or I'll just. Okay. Number 13 seed Vermont Catamounts, 28-5 versus number 4 Arkansas Razorbacks, 25-8. Keep Center in Buffalo, New York. Nobody wanted to see this matchup. I did not want to see this matchup. I still have Arkansas going all the way to the Final Four and coming out of the West. And I did not want to see this matchup. But Vermont is a scary basketball team. Vermont opening up as 6.5-point dogs. That's down to 4.5. This total opening up at 141.5, down to 139 and 139.5. And I'm nervous, very nervous. I shouldn't be if I believe in this squad. 45% of the tickets on Vermont and 81% of the cash. And of all the games here, they believe that Vermont has full value and a ton of steam at Sports Insights. The total has 54% of tickets going over, 86% of the cash going over. And I am very nervous. Winners of 22 of their last 23 games. Last seen easily beating UMBC 82-43. We saw what UMBC did after that game. They just gave up on the season. In the American East Championship, they got destroyed. Vermont's dangerous. Nolly knows. Vermont Catamounts, Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Vermont being like the Cinderella team, or I guess the feel good story. They were rattling off HES wins like crazy for a lot of people, and a big part of it defensively. They rank 71st in the nation in effective field goal percentage allowed. They rank up there in three-point defense as well. I had that number here. They rank 92nd in effective field goal percentage allowed, just 24%. And so that's something that I look at for this team and a big part of why they've been successful. But this is a tough matchup here with Arkansas, a team that's also been pretty good defensively and a team that's rattled off a lot of overs, a team that I've been shying away from more recently, where conversely on the other side for Vermont, 5 of the last 6 games have stayed under the total. A team that's, like I mentioned, relies heavily on their defense, doesn't push a lot of tempo, only 56 field goal attempts per game, but very efficient, almost 50% shooting. And that's a big part of why they've been covering the number. But, I mean, I feel like the storybook's out. The story's out on this team, and the number that you're getting is very short. So it's hard for me to get involved with them at this number. I think, this is a tough matchup. And right around 4 or 5 is pretty close to what I see. I lean more towards the under, but being that Arkansas has been pushing the tempo a little bit more and allowing over 70 points per game is just the reason I'll stay off.
All right, a stay off spot there. Let's move on to CMAC. Should I be very nervous here about Arkansas?
Sorry, I was on mute. Shit. This game is so fascinating to me till you can look both ways at it. I thought the line was a little bit short here. That's why I'm going to talk about, I think Arkansas is the play here. I'm not wild about it, but I think they're the better team. I think Vermont hasn't seen a team like this. They've just been beating on these teams in the America East that don't play any defense, that don't have any size, but they have shot it well. That's what scares me. If they get hot here, they could not only cover this game, be in it, it could be really close. I love this Arkansas team. I think they're deep. I think they got the talent here, and I think the number's short. You know what I'm waiting for here, Jenny, is a 4. If I really was trying to see if I could get a 4 here, I'm just going to sit and wait. I don't think I get it, but at 4.5, I kind of like Arkansas. I think too much love right here. Everyone's gotten too much love of these teams. South Dakota State, the short number with Providence. Everyone's so on this with the tournament these days that I think Arkansas is just better. It won't be easy. Like if this was 8.5, 9, I think Vermont could be a look, but they haven't played anybody of this caliber. And then early on in the year, let's look at it like some teams that are decent. Providence beat them by 10. Maryland beat them by 11. Those are just kind of 2 power teams that they played. They lost by double digits. So to me, this is Arkansas. I'm going to fade the public. Everyone's on Vermont. I like Arkansas here. I was just seeing if I could get a 4. I don't know if that happens, but I'm just going to wait.
Yeah, I've got to put my money where my mouth is. It's 5 right now at 365.
There's 4.5 though still.
Yeah,
places though.
I'm like just about to open up a account with a different book so I can live bet while we're in Texas, and maybe I should just do it now and see if I can get a better number over there. Rand says has to be Arkansas 5 as much. There's Trotwam in the house. Cabby says, I think when the benches come out this game, Arkansas takes control. Ryan Kozlowski laid the 5. I got to just put my money where my mouth is here. I've got Arkansas to reach the Final Four. Why would I be scared? And Prince of the City says Michigan's point guard couldn't start in my over 40 league. Okay, I got to. I really got to. But I might wait. see if I can get a better line. All right, we move on. 9:40 p.m. East Region. Just 3 games left on the card, and this one's going to be beautiful. Number 10, San Francisco Dons, 24-9 versus number 7, Murray State Racers, 30-2. We're at Cambridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. And San Francisco had a great season this year, coming off losing 81-71 to Gonzaga in the West Coast semis. I mean, there's no harm, no foul there. The market is moving towards Murray State. Murray State now 2.5-point favorites at DraftKings. It was basically a pick 'em at first. This total is dropping a little bit, 137.5 and 136.5. By the way, I got you guys an under 121.5 at -109 in Creighton, San Diego State. If anybody out there can beat that line, let me know so I can give the guys a better number. And when we go to the cash for San Francisco, Murray State, we have just over 16,000 tickets in, and it's Murray State. 67% of tickets, 73% of cash. And then 46% of the tickets are on the under, but 62% of the cash is on the under, and it's going up, that total. And Murray State comes in off their 20th straight win, 71-67 over Morehead State in the Ohio Valley Conference Finals. I haven't bet this, and I may not unless I hear from you guys, but I like the Dons here. I think the Dons are a good basketball team, playing against tougher competition than Murray State, and can beat Murray State here. C-Mac, take it away. San Francisco, Murray State.
I think San Francisco's had a good year, and this game's going to be good. The move I think that's been made to Murray State here to -2 is the forward that's out, Maseki or whatever his name is. He averages 14 a game. When he went out just a few games ago, they had a couple bad losses. To me, I don't think San Francisco should have made the tournament, to tell you the truth.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I think they had a good year, but they kind of reminded me of BYU. I think you could have either team. And now with him out, that's 14 points a game. That's huge. Pick him is where I had this, but even at 2, it's Murray State or nothing here. And I could be wrong, but and I like the Dons. I just think this is a tough spot. Murray State's, what they go 30-2 this year. I think they win again. They're built for this. Missing him today is going to hurt the Dons. So give me Murray State here, -2.
Okay, C-Mac moving on Murray State, and that will comfortably keep me off this game. No need to add it. Let's hear what Nolly has to say. Dons, Racers.
Yeah, this game's a little tough for me. 2 teams pushing a little bit of tempo that I don't like to see. Well, San Francisco specifically more so, and their 3-point shooting, 27 three-pointers shot up per game. Can't spit that out because just too many. But Murray State, though, conversely, 7 of the last 10 games have stayed under the total, and a team that's only allowed 62.3 points per game. So a team that's relied on their defense, but have been very efficient offensively as well, 47.9 overall. So I think this is a pretty evenly matched team. Match game that I look at here, but 2 teams that I'm not going to get involved with. Just nothing definitive for me in this game.
I hear that. C-Mac, we can get you a -2 at -103. And if you wanted the -1.5, that's -115. You like the -2, -103?
Yeah, 2 -103 is fine.
All right, C-Mac is locked in on Murray State -2, -103. Okay, we head over 2 games left here. Nolly starts off this one. East Region first round, number 13 seed Akron Zips 24-9 versus number 4 seed UCLA Bruins 25-7 Motor Center in Portland, Oregon. Obviously, a vividness bias. Everybody remembers what UCLA did last year and care more about that than what they've shown here in the regular season. We have Akron opening up as 15-point dogs. That's down to 13.5. This total's gone from 130.5 down to 128.5. When we get over to the cash flow in this spot, 70% of the tickets are on Akron and 94% of the cash. Wow. And a huge move towards them. And by the way, they have of value here in Sports Insights. And, take what you want. But they have the most value here on the card today on Vermont, second on Murray State, and third is on Akron. This total, we have 58% of tickets to the under and 86% of cash to the under. Much love, Real Deal Prime. Thanks for rolling with us. And then we have Akron coming off their 8th straight win. Easy 75-55 victory over Kent State in the MAC final. And Kent State had, put out that video of them rapping about Akron. And obviously that blew up in Kent State's face. So I don't know how much we should take off of that 75-55 loss. UCLA had their 5-game winning streak snapped in an 84-76 loss to Arizona in the Pac-12 final. Take it away, Nolly, Akron, UCLA.
Yeah, initially when you bring up Akron, I automatically want to think to the under, a team that really pushes a slow tempo, just 53 field goal attempts per game, almost dead last in the nation, but they do put up 22 threes per game. So that will kind of balance it out. But a team that's been pretty good defensively, 63.6 points per game. So a team that I've seen that's fared pretty well here down the stretch, but this is a tough ask going against UCLA, a team that lost against Arizona, which Arizona, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're pretty good. And they just don't seem to match up against them very well. Whereas here, this team against Akron, I think they match up a little bit better. I was leaning towards the under, but I think the number is just a little bit short, which is why I didn't get involved. But that's the only way I'm looking would be under.
A look towards the under for Nolly, but not moving on it. C-Mac, take it away. Akron, UCLA.
Yeah, I agree here with Nolly. It'd be under nuts, but the line is not great here, at this number, 128 or so. Derek Miller just put, UCLA is just too good in the end. But this number's a little bit interesting. 4 seeds, that lay more than 10 points aren't good ATS. I just had that pulled up earlier today. Hold on. Forget what it was. Let me see if I can find it. They're 6-13 since 06. Akron this year was good as a dog. 9-2 ATS. I just worry UCLA, Ju Zhang, all these guys they basically have the same team as last year, coming right back. But this could be a sleepy game here. I mean they win, but they might not cover tonight. This was an interesting one for me to look at because UCLA is better, and that size, I think they ended up just winning. Do they win by 15? I'm not so sure. Akron's been riding high. I just think in the end, they really have 3 scorers too. Akron, Freeman, Costanza, and Ali. Those guys have got to be it. I mean, those 3, if one of them's off, it's tough for them to score. That's why Nolly talked about the under, but the number's just sharp on the total. But yeah, I lean the points a little bit. Seems like a lot of people like it. It's one I'm going to look at a little bit more. But in the end, UCLA gets by. Just don't know if they cover this number.
All right, well, let's talk about the last banger here on opening day of the tournament, the big dance. Texas Southern Tigers 19-12 versus the number 1 seeded Kansas Jayhawks, who I have making it to the final against Kentucky. Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. Texas Southern opening up as 21.5-point dogs. Bet Rivers moved that to 22. FanDuel's moved it to 22.5. Total opened up at 144.5. Now at 146.5. When we take a look at the cash flow in this, we have just under 5,000 tickets bet on it. 28% of the tickets on Texas Southern and 52% of the cash. Interestingly enough, 67% of tickets on the under and 87% of cash on the under. And it's moving in the opposite direction. It's moving. Oh, no, I take that back. Yes. And it's moved. No, it is. Sorry. It's moving in the opposite direction. It's gone from 144.5 to 146.5. After defeating Alcorn State 87-62 in the SWAC final, they carried that momentum over to a big 76-67 win over Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the 16-seed playing game. Kansas just rolling, man. 5th straight win, 74-65 over Texas Tech in the Big 12 final. They look primed for a deep run here, I believe. Take it away here, C-Mac. Last game on the board, Texas Southern, Kansas.
This is the one that I had the least about to talk about here. I don't want Kansas here. I think they're a very good team. I don't want to lay this big number. If you like Kansas, maybe take them early. Texas Southern can play a little bit of defense. So this total's interesting. But Kansas, against these type teams, they take care of business. So this could be a way you want to lay chalk. But it could be an under because I don't know if Texas Southern could break 60. But it's usually the teams like Texas Tech or these other teams, Baylor, is where Kansas gets carved up defensively. Again, a team like this, I think they can hold it down. I mean, so I lean under a little bit. I think Kansas care of business. You could look team total. I'm not going to be involved in this game, though, I don't think, in the end.
No move for CMAC. Nolly knows last game on the card, Texas Southern, Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, initially I want to say under because Texas Southern, they've been pretty profitable, 18-13 to the under, depending on what numbers you got, maybe 19-12. But a big reason that I'm afraid is what Conor Max mentioned. Kansas typically would take care of business in this type of situation. But when I look at this number at 145.5, you look at for Texas Southern, not one game since January 29th has been lined at that number. Even for Kansas, only 2 games have been lined at that number or higher, and both of those games staying under the total. So I would lean towards the under. I think they've adjusted a little bit much when I look into perspective of the past games. But for me, I just don't want to get involved. Does Kansas come out and just stomp on them and put everybody on notice? That's what I expect from some of these better teams. So I'll be staying away from this one.
All right. Absolutely great work, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have one NBA game that I will be capping in a second here, but let's review NCAA action here. Matty Ice, Taint play of the day is the Hoosiers plus 2.5. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day is a parlay. Memphis, Iowa, Arkansas. Nolly opens it up with the under 138 in Michigan, Colorado State. And that's right there at 137.5 right now. Wow, what wild swings in that game. It got down to 123, didn't it? Didn't I say that? I don't know. Wild swings in that game. Okay, we'll see what happens there, but Nolly in fine shape. Then in the South Dakota State Providence game that's on, no one moved. We got started with CMAC on Boise State plus 4 at minus 109 against Memphis. Norfolk, Baylor, the guys stayed off. Longwood, Tennessee, they stayed off. But Razor Sharp Picks is on the under in the Tennessee game and the Richmond, Iowa game. Both of those spots, he's on unders. Georgia State, Gonzaga, we stayed off. Marquette, North Carolina. I came close to wanting to move on North Carolina, but I guess I won't. Nolly's on the under 132.5 in New Mexico State. UConn, he's on the under 132 at minus 107 in St. Peters, Kentucky. He's on the under CMAX on the under 125.5 in Indiana, St. Mary's. Nolly and CMAC are both on the Creighton, San Diego State under 121.5 minus 109. Then CMAC is on Murray State minus 2 at minus 103. And that is that. That is that. Thank you guys so much. You can catch Conor Mack on NCAA Net Profits. That show's going to be going off. So huge eyes. Eyes will be all over that show. That's tonight with Maxwell Smart at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Again, Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And then they have the big Saturday morning show before all the games that pop off. That's going to be just a huge show. And then our man Nolly Knows can be seen right here on Wednesdays and Thursdays on Betting with the Bag. And both these guys are very, very good MLB handicappers. So you will see them all over this show when the MLB season pops off. So follow them both on Twitter at Conor Mac and at Nolly Knows. C-Mac, any last words before you prepare for your big college basketball show today?
No, I want to watch these games and then get the show. I can't wait. Happy St. Paddy's Day. Everyone wants to be Irish for one day, but not the other 364. But it's just a joke. I guess it's bad. But shout out to everyone in the chat. I'll see you guys later. Cab, Oops, Jay Peasy, Jason Folk, Billy, Sam Comer, all the guys in here. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy. It's always a blast. I can't wait for these games. And I'm going to move on more, like we talked about. I'm just waiting on a few things here. That Arkansas, you know how it goes with me.
Yeah. So catch the show, 5 p.m. Eastern, NCAA Net Profits. There he is, Conor Mack in the house. I told a joke and then tried to run away from it. He tried to run away from it. I love that. That really got me.
Yeah, I don't know if I can match that,
That got me, dude. Nolly Knows, thank you for joining us. You can catch Nolly Knows here every Wednesday and Thursday. Nolly, any last words, my man?
Oh, thanks a lot for having me. Thanks for putting up, and hopefully we can cash some tickets, and good luck to everybody.
Sounds good. There he is. Nolly knows. All right, we move on to one game in NBA. You guys may call it a backwood. You may call it a bum fight. I call it, I'm coming off a 5-0 day. I want to cap this basketball game. Also, you guys remember me when my record was down 23 units in NBA? After last night's 5-0 score, Mavericks -1.5, Atlanta Charlotte under 240, Nuggets first half -3.5, Nuggets full game -6.5, Raptors -1.5. I'm now 123 wins, 114 losses, 51.9%, down 1.77 units. So
Come on, we can talk about it now.
Yeah. We've come almost all the way back. I have not had one day in the black in this NBA season. And I'm trying to get there. My ROI is down 0.75%, average line -110, and coming off a 5-0 day. And I've not moved on this game. So let's break this bad boy down. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Those of you who want to stick around and get a little cash on this. And Dennis Garcia, there you go. Pistons money line. Danny Lopez took the +3.5 with Detroit last night. Okay, let's talk about this and see what the situation is. Detroit Pistons at Orlando Magic. Pistons. Oh, here we go. Sorry, let me move over to NBA. I put the comma in the wrong spot, but I know what the real numbers are. The Pistons are 18-51, 7-28 on the road. The Magic are 18-52, 8-25 at home. We're at Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. Detroit 1-4 over their past 5, 28th in pace at 94.43 possessions a game, while Orlando is 2-3, 13th in pace at 100.21 possessions a game. We have the Pistons opening up at +4. They've moved to 2.5, although FanDuel, BetRivers, Sugar House, Unibet all hanging a 3 still. When we get into the total, we have this total opening up at 217.5. We see 218s, a 218.5, and a 219. Almost there, Dad Fan. Almost there, man. Almost there, man. I just this is the closest I've come to. I've gotten with it. I've got like down 3 units and 4 units, and I've fallen apart. And I'm close. Astutecast says 3-1 NBA yesterday. The Warriors couldn't bribe a bucket. Let's go here and see where the cash lies in this bad boy. Oh, man. It says there's 201 tickets in. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's just break the game down together. Pistons come off their 4th straight loss, 105-98 at the Heat on Tuesday. Jose, could you look up the Detroit Pistons injury situation? Because Cade Cunningham was not available on Tuesday with a non-COVID illness. We all expect him to be in the lineup, but if Jose could back that up with facts, that would work. Derek Miller says, if you've been tailing Dutch, you are winning. Dutch is really led by example here. He truly has been excellent, and so is so is Daryl. Daryl's been money in the bank. So Hamidou Diallo sprained left finger and Frank Jackson back spasm. So what we care about is Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart knee, Killian Hayes hip, and Rodney McGruder all return to the lineup, and that helps. It helps having Isaiah Stewart in the lineup. The Magic come in off their 2nd straight loss, a 150-108 debacle at home against the Nets. Brooklyn shot 60.2% as a team and had 7 players score in double figures. Obviously, Kyrie went for 60. But this is the 4th game of a 6-game homestand. And while you give us a Pistons injury update, I'd like to know if Jalen Suggs will be in the lineup for the Magic. Take it away, Jose. What are we talking about with Cade? Will he be in the lineup?
No Jalen Suggs. I can tell you that officially.
Okay, Jalen Suggs is out.
Or we call that a Tobillo where we're from. But yeah, Cade's still questionable with the sniffles. So
still questionable.
You really want to hit me with that pull, don't you? I can feel it. It's a long show. You just want to rip the carpet right on for me right now. I can feel it.
No. Look, I just that one of the things that we really care about is the work. We do the work, and we can always promise you that we're going to do the work. And I care about this basketball game, and I just wanted to at least discuss it Here.
Why aren't we talking spring training baseball yet, Jim? Red Sox are playing right now. That cocksucker Turnsey already gave out Twins money line. That dickhead. But yeah, why aren't we talking spring training baseball, Jim? Come on.
We're not going to talk spring training. Dan Kelly says I'm going to try to get a live bet on the under in Detroit, Orlando. So from a capping standpoint, I really like now it's not my favorite spot. My favorite would be the fifth game of a 6-game homestand. But I like the fourth game of a 6-game homestand coming off getting destroyed. I like that. How important is Jalen Suggs to this whole story is debatable. Clearly, he's getting better as the season goes on, but he hasn't been that good this year.
You're right.
Say what, my man?
Marco Feltz is back too, so limits the damage there as well.
I think that's right. Remo says, Jimmy, produce your MLB show.
That's a good question. I think you should produce the MLB show. I think it's maybe that'd be nice. I'd like to.
Dan Kelly says, do you want me to look that up for you, Jimmy? Wow, that's incredible, Dan Kelly. Fourth game of a 6-game homestand after losing by double digits, let's call it.
That's a fucking Dan Kelly stat right there, if you can find it.
Man, it does. Does Jose not look like a professional producer these last little while?
Well, let me tell you, Remos doesn't know what our studio looks like, and he said that I've apparently rented out one nicely. It's really nice. I appreciate Rem, and I sound probably lovely too.
You do. It sounds excellent. And Wally says, "What do you have planned for Saturday in San Antonio?" Saturday is a huge day. We start at the brewery. San Antonio, what's the brewery called?
Alamo.
The Alamo Brewery. Then we go over to SneakerCon. And that's at AT&T? No.
That is at like the Freeman. It's not the Freeman. It's all like a convention center that's like 5 minutes from Safftown. Obviously, not all the scheduled events are on this little Pullapalooza thing because that'd be long and arduous. Yeah. These are our main things happening and with times. But yeah. That is also happening. The SneakerCon does not have like a set time. Anyone can go whenever. But 5 minutes, 10 minutes from Southtown. It's a walk. You can even walk there. Yeah,
we'll walk over to the SneakerCon. And then we have the big poker tournament that evening. That starts at 8 p.m. Professional dealers, professional tables.
Yeah, here's all the rules. $200 buy-in if you guys want to play. Still looking for players.
Yeah, 20 goes to your bounty. Going to be very, very fun.
And you'll get a free shirt too. About that.
Nice. Back to this Pistons Magic spot. I like the fourth game of a 6-game homestand after getting destroyed. I like it a lot. Obviously, Capper's here on the Pistons. Dennis Garcia on Detroit money line. I mean, that all is cause for pause. But I want to stick to this belief that it's a great spot for the Magic. I really do, But I don't want to go up again. There's no reason for it. I got enough action today. We go up against Dennis Garcia. I'll just leave that as a lean right now onto the Magic and decide if I want to move on it. And there was a live under was talked about also, looking at a live under. He did say Markel Fultz. He did. It did take
Fultz. English is my second language, Jim. It's hard.
He's thinking poker. Dan Kelly said it's a 50-50 spot against the spread with a lean to the over.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Dennis, that is not a positive ROI situation for me when I'm on the other side for you. I wish I had a database like Dan's to track it, but I know it would be ugly.
I'm excited to see your database, Jim. You've allegedly got spreadsheets upon spreadsheets.
That's not database. That's just tracking stats, and it's awful. I hate it.
A database is all subjective. I've got a database too.
And Dan Kelly says, I don't know about that live under now after you made me look that up. And there's R2D2 Finland in the house saying, stopping by to say hi to you all watching hockey, having a beer after the sauna. Says Finland salutes you. That's a perfect way to put a bow on this show. Shout out to you, R2D2 Finland. Speaking of hockey, let's review the NHL action and then put a bow on this bad boy. This is what we got in NHL. Mr. Gogster is on Dallas, Washington moneyline parlay at plus 118. He's on the Islanders Rangers first period under at 1.5. He also added the first 10 minutes no goal. I believe it was a plus 124. I'll double check that. Then he has Carolina first period money line -107, Carolina money line -110. I'm on Carolina -1, and I'm going to add the Leafs team total under here in a minute. Pittsburgh Penguins, St. Louis Blues first period under 1.5 at +120. That's the spot where he took the no goal first period and got like a +142, I believe, on that no goal in the first 10 minutes. Then he's tripled up on San Jose first period money line, San Jose money line, San Jose team total over 2.5 at +108. And that bet does scare me. It really does scare me. Just because they just beat up on the Kings. And I know the Kings are, ravaged with injuries, but you don't just let this weak-ass Sharks team step on your throat. And that's that. For me, I told you I moved on Carolina -1. I'm going to add the Leafs team total under 3. I'm going to add the Stars -1 in the over in Dallas, Montreal. I'm already on the over in Washington, Columbus. And there you have it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Tomorrow we have Babano. So Babano, we're going to do what we did again. We're going to break down the NHL very quickly. And then we're going to break down all 16 games that we are available for us in the tourney. And then Durrell, who was excellent yesterday, will be joining us on Friday, tomorrow, to break down the NBA card. So it's going to be long.
He didn't give a fucking shit yesterday, and he did well. Not even one fucking shit.
No, he didn't give a fucking shit. Fat Wally said, I was thinking of being in Southtown 101 Saturday early afternoon for lunch. If not, I'm on for the Saturday barbecue and track action. I love that, Fat Wally. But you should come to the brewery, right? Come to the brewery. That's where we're going to have lunch, I believe, right? Lunch and beers.
Yeah.
Lunch and beers. You should do that. By the way, Wally. I'll holler at you. Yes.
I'd like to, we give the people, the end of show squad people, a little treat, and I think it's time to come back out of retirement again. A little say hey action.
A little say hey action.
Say action. Little 3-piece big nugget, as our friend Raw Dog would like to say.
Say hey action. All right, let's hear it. Say hey play. Oh, the day.
By the way, I'm strictly calling Raw Dog now from now on.
As you should. Yeah, as you should. When you get a nickname like Raw Dog and you don't, die of some horrible sexual related disease, then you use the nickname with pride.
Even if you catch one, it still kind of should stick with you. Shout out Magic. But I'm going to start off with Boise State. +3.5, -105 on our friends at Bovada. I think they win the game.
We found a 4 at Boise. +4, -109 at Circa, so we'll give you that.
Sure, that's fine. I think Boise wins outright, so I'll take that, no problem. I usually would bet spread and money, but for the sake of time here, I'm going to do just spreads. I'm also taking Marquette +3.5. People forget that Shaka Smart is a good head coach, especially in the NCAA tournament. And it seems to me that people are starting to realize that maybe Texas is a very hard job for basketball coaches. So give me Shaka and the boys there. And I don't believe in Hubert Davis in North Carolina. They peaked when they beat Duke. So I'm going to take that. And I'm going to take Arkansas as well, -5. I think the 4-13 hype is starting to get a little bit too much there. And I think Arkansas smacks them in the mouth.
God, I hope that happens. I'm gonna jump on that too. But let's see if we can get you a 4.5. We can. -4.5, -107 at Pinnacle.
There'll be more plays tomorrow, but those are for the only of the end of squad people. And Dan Kelly, good question. We just figured that out. Bracket pool is third place, second place, first place, and it's either going to be 70-20-10 or 60-30-10, whichever one.
I think 60-30-10.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I prefer that.
I'll redo the math. But, so 17 people. I had someone bothering me during the show asking to join, and they're just like, I'll send you the $50 later, bro. I was like, dude, just send me the $50. But, it's a good time. And
you can't come in after the first tip-off of the first game.
Well, I was going to be nice. He's been talking to me all morning.
You can't do it. It's locked.
I turned it off. I turned the thing off. So he's locked. I'm a good person, Jim. I tried to be nice, and he's not getting in now, unfortunately. But I just want to let you know that I am participating in the St. Patrick's Day tonight, and I'm planning on drinking some green alcoholic beverages. So perhaps you'll get some drunk texts tonight from me. Who knows?
I look forward to it, Jose. Great job producing the show as always, and. No, it says I'm thinking of adding North Carolina now, laughing. Thank you guys all so much for rolling with us. We have no show without you guys. Billy Friedrich, Cashman 19, C. James, Locke, Bresnar, Turnsey 66.
Cashman, check
great.
your DMs. And by the way, Sweet 16 people, check your DMs because we're starting the collection process.
Oh, yes, we got tickets at a good price. Nolly knows all together. Nolly knows Mark Schillingberg, CT Bays, Mike M, Dan Kelly, Isaiah B. What a great group. Mike M saying, oh, raw dog, Deacon Mike, Sam I Am, R2D2 Finland, Michigan Mel, Derek Miller, Sammy Calmer, Jake Kaiser, Jason Folk. Thank you guys so much. Jake Peasy, Mark Schillingberg. Thank you guys. Oh, and Mike M about that Piston spot.
By the way, we just got our guy in, so he sent me the money. So,
Okay, so we have 18?
18 people, 900 total. So good times. And by the way, he says hello, Chris
Sweet.
Barr. So saying shout out to him. After I slandered him about 2 seconds ago, but it's okay.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, let's get that cash. Happy March Madness. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers!